In the shadow, be tough as the cries in Apollo. Cause life is a bitch with an ammo. She sucking and swallow. Keep everyone short like staccatos. I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down. Fucking a world that is shallow. We still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow. Smoking this joint in soprano. Nightmare trees. I can't eat dreams. Depressing trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves. The wasted jeans. Overweight shirt up and wasted jeans. Plain my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural. I take this lead. Demons in bed. Said the bullet might help. Couple shots to the head. Ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing I could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing I could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leaving. Pray I wake from dreaming. Light in my eyes, shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills. Those pills might kill me. Piano was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living. The stress I just can't be explained. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. A clog in the drain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning. running in shadow. Be tough as the cries in Apollo, cause life is a bitch with an ammo. She sucking and swallow, keep everyone shut like staccatos. I seem like a mover inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down. Fucking the world that is shallow, we still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow, smoking the joint in soprano. Nightmare trees, the planting dreams, depression trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves, the wasted jeans. Overweight shit up and wasted jeans. Playing my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural, I take this sleep. Doing 10 bets to the bullet, might help. Couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or fear again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leaving. Pray I wake up dreaming. Light in my eyes, shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills. Just bills might kill me. Rihanna was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living. The stress I just can't be explained. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. The clock in the drain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning. was born in the shadow, be tough as the cries in Apollo, cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow, keep everyone shut like staccatos, I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow, stuck in a pad and it's down, fucking the world that is shallow, we still never follow, straight to the point like an arrow, smoking this joint in soprano, nightmare trees, the planting dreams, depressing trees, that grow like weeds, my blood and leaves, the wasted jeans, overweight shirt up and wasted jeans, plain my scene with a wasted scene, living unnatural, I take this speed, demons in bed, to the bullet, my help, couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning me, try to breathe again, what's the cause, lost family, nothing I can gain, I'll feel again, just turned 23, still ain't free from pain, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning me, try to breathe again, what's the cause, lost family, nothing I can gain, I'll feel again, just turned 23, still ain't free from pain, don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding, gun to my head should be easy, way too close to my demons, mind full of leaving, pray I wake from dreaming, light in my eyes shut demon, days seem dark, no meaning, running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills, just bills might kill me, piano was playing, so many kids feeling hollow and sorrow, I might go insane, mind full of change, so many ways on my spirit, I promise I'm done with the pain, physical pain, feels like I'm tired of living, the stress, just can't be explained, done with the rain, feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning, the clock in the drain, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning.
Good evening, everybody, and it is evening. It's a nice evening. It's nice and sunny here at 6:10 in the afternoon in the United Kingdom. Something that hasn't been done for a long, long time. I have certainly been enjoying the weather, or at least when I've managed to get up, because as you can probably see, I'm a little bit sick at the moment. But I've mustered up the courage, mustered up the energy to get this stream done, and it is a mightily important stream. And before we dive too much into the details, I'd like to welcome my partner in crime in the commentary booth for this evening's action. It is none other than Stanley, a name that's getting rather familiar now in the RAF Stormshadows community. Good evening, Kyle. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Good evening, chat. Like you said, it's been a sunny day. We're feeling good. The spring's upon us, and the weather's getting good. And hopefully, it means we're going to have some hot gameplay this evening. Fingers crossed.
I like that. Hot gameplay. I like that. So we're off to a good start then in the commentary booth. Carl's feeling audacious with words like that. I quite like it. But anyway, into the action for this evening. It is two different formats to contend with. So it is for the first part of play for seeding in the latest single Elim bracket. It is a round robin format in which every team will play each other at least one time. Well, what does that mean? It means the first game we are going to watch is a absolute belter of a game, and it is between the RAF Stormshadows and the RAF Tempests. Stormshadows have come off off the back of a defeat yesterday to the Army Esports Falcons, a fantastic side, and it was a very entertaining series. And the RAF Stormshadows grew into that one massively towards the end and put up a great fight. So for them, I assume, Kyle, it will be more of the same. Pick up where you left off yesterday, which I believe is what you've actually told them. And for the Tempests, well, who knows? They were scrimming at the time that match was happening, but they may have watched back the replay and thought, maybe I fancy our chances here. Only time will tell. But before we actually get into the game, Kyle, can I have your professional opinion as to who might win this first round-robin fixture?
I think on paper, it's definitely a 2-0 victory for the Stormshadows, but I like where the Tempests are at the moment. I've started coaching, I've started getting a little bit more involved with the teams, and the communication on their team is getting a lot better on the Tempests, and a lot of confidence coming in. 15-1 in 2 hours of scrims. That's unheard of out of players and teams of their rank. And I think that consistency is something that the Stormshadows sometimes lack, and they showed that yesterday. But like you said, they finished well, and they performed really solid at the second half of that series yesterday against the Army. And they should take it. So I'm going to say 2-1 to the Stormshadows.
Of course, it is again best of 3 in this format. As you can see on your screen there, we are going to get things underway in just a moment. It is the RAF Stormshadows on the left there, the RAF Tempests on the right. The RAF's two best teams on paper, and I wonder if they'll think they almost automatically have a place booked in to the finals in the AFEI. Well, time will tell, of course. There's a lot on the line for both of these two sides. They'll want to get the night's action off to a very nice, easy start, and it will put them in good stead, of course, for the single Elim to follow later on. I am certainly going to hope. I'm certainly going to go for a Stormshadows win. I wonder how narrow it will be. That's certainly my prediction, but that's not to discount the wonderful Temper side who have really been grinding hard and could quite easily spring an upset here. I'm very curious, and as you can see, Ed 15 with 2 Tempest players. It is Subi, Sam, and G-Wood kicking off things here for the Tempest. They have all 4 players to pick from tonight, where Stormshadows are limited to their usual trio of Envy, Slayer, and Cedric. Is that a limiting factor? That's a great flick, and it will be an opener to the RAF Tempests. And will it be a repeat of the inter-services?
Yeah, it's interesting to see. And we're seeing the confident Subi, the star man, maybe the MVP out of the inter-services. And he's showing why he was that MVP. Really good start. And I was going to say Stormshadows coming out fast, looking good. But that counter-attack, that good ball control from Subi. And we're going to see what the top 2 teams have, what their level is. They're going to show the highest Rocket League we've ever seen in Forces history. All 6 players on the pitch exceptionally good, and like you said, the Tempests, they have that squad depth as well. They've still got that man on the bench. They have Keanu, who arguably is maybe their biggest pop-off player, and we've seen it on stream how exceptional he can be. And maybe a little bit of a limiting factor, although P is maybe the sub on the Stormshadows, not having the option there when they're not necessarily the most consistent team could turn out to be a big problem for them, especially going later into the evening.
Well, the RAF Tempests, that's very awkward for G-Wood to deal with, but he dealt with it really nicely. That was crucial defending from Elliot Greenwood, a man who used to play for the RAF Stormshadows and will love nothing more than to beat a team that on paper and in the RAF rankings are of course above them. And I wonder if this might be the catalyst that sends the Tempests steaming to the top. Only time will tell. Of course, famously, the RAF Tempests were only about... Oh, that's wonderful play by Slayer. Goes one-on-one. Just a second fake. That, my friends, is stunning play from Slayer Heed. 2 fakes. One-on-one. Slots it into the bottom left. Sensational stuff. We're back to 1-1.
Yeah, and I think that's what Slayer offers maybe better than anyone else in the RAF. Just the intelligence, the ability to change the pace of the game. You might think there was no midfield presence, but he's faked 2 people out and he's so close to the ball. He has such a threat on the ball that they had to respect it. And again, Slayer's there and he gets the shot. And this is something we only saw later in the series. He was slotting the balls and he was finding the gaps in the rotation. But he's come out first game and he's looking really strong.
Excellent stuff from the RAF Stormshadows. They find it, come back, and again, it's best of 3. It's best of 3 this evening, and that can provide gaps for all kinds of shocks and shenanigans. British Army Extra, good evening to you. I hope you guys at the Army are doing very well this evening, whether you're tucking in, ready for the evening's action. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you will enjoy it. We have a fantastic show ahead this evening, so nice to see you here. As always, as the Stormshadows come forward again, searching for a third. But it wasn't to be that time. The Tempest now on the back foot.
Yeah, and it's looking quite bleak for the Tempests. Although getting that first goal, they've not really seemed to have any sustained offense. Although that might fare well for them in the short format. And we've seen that fast transitions are not something that Stormshadows particularly defend well at all times. So we can definitely see a turnover, but the way Cedric, the way Envy, the way Slayer are all playing individually on the ball right now, it's looking very hard for them to create any space to get out of the final third.
Army team looking forward to going head-to-head in the inter-services. Yep, it's the spring qualifier, the end of this month. It's going to be a fantastic series of games that evening, and again, for those not aware of that inter-service format, as Cedric nearly puts into his own net, and there is the equaliser from Subi. They do have life. They have found a way back into it. And Cedric, you can see there in the top left saying, whoops, maybe not too happy with himself on that one. It was a tough one to read. He tried. It fell nicely to Subi, who slots it home for 2-2. But again, back to the point regarding the inter-service format. It was a dominant Falcon side that beat the RAF Stormshadows twice, especially notably in the grand final of the last qualifier, which puts the Army Esports Falcons as top seed for the spring qualifier going forward. And as we edge closer and closer to December, which is when the actual inter-service championships are, you do begin to wonder whether the Army will be crowned champions at the end of the year, at the end of the inter-service LAN. I certainly cannot wait for that. especially knowing that we have our Championship to defend. And with the Army teams coming through and improving so much since December, it just makes for unreal action set to come for the end of year LAN. But now it's the RAF Stormshadows and Tempests doing battle here for a place in Germany at stake. And Stanley, we're into the final minute now, and it's been pretty much even between these two sides.
Yeah, and like I said before, it doesn't look too convincing from the Tempests, but that transition, they look so aggressive, they look so formidable on the transition that anything can happen. And it seems like in this last minute, the next goal might just take the game. And Subi, he's looking confident, he's trusting his beats out of G-Wood, trusting the beats out of Samez. And I think, although a mistake out of Cedric for that second goal, it was forced. And the hours and the effort the Tempests are putting in is really showing. That extra touch on the dribble from Samez, maybe not the most mechanical player, but Subi then on the backboard trusted his teammates beat, and he got the shot off. And it was incredible stuff. And still, even in defense now, they look like they can be a force to be reckoned with, and they can get that fast transition. They do look for the passing plays, probably more so than the Stormshadows, who look for their mechanics a little bit more. And he's got a double bump, and it's still somehow being kept out of the net, and we go into overtime.
That was some play from the Stormshadows there, attempting to nick it at the last. That's a lovely Coxier pinch from Cedric. Will it find its way in? And it's a beautiful save from Samez. Cedric will be devastated that that hasn't found the back of the net. It would have been one of the first Coxier pinches we've seen on stream ever. As Subi picks that one out of top left, and the Tempests survive. Slayer though linking up with Cedric. Cedric's there! Sorry, Envy's there! What a pre-flip goal! Slayer linking up with Envy magnificently, and they've made it count. Stormshadows take game one, and what an end that was.
Commentator's curse. I said they don't do passing plays and they proved me wrong. I think someone's listening to the stream. Slayer and Envy linked up amazingly then, and they really showed why they are that team on top, why they're the first team, why they're the inter-service champions. That is the experience you need. They could have got flustered, they've had a lot of pressure, they could have overcommit. But they go straight back into the kickoff, they get possession, and that 1-2 there was incredible stuff. And we saw the pinch out of Cedric as well. They are putting so much pressure offensively onto the Tempests that it's just a tough task to get any space, any boost on the side of the Tempests. And I think now we might see a more forced, aggressive environment from the Tempests, where G-Wood maybe might go for his bumps a little bit more. Subi, try and get him on the ball a little bit more. Maybe a few more solos.
Really was something special that it took to beat the RAF Tempests there. But I'll tell you what, if you are the Tempests, what can you really do other than say, fair enough? It's like when a football player scores a 50-yard screamer against a team that's been playing brilliantly all game long. All you can really do is just hold your hands up and say, fair enough. Like, there's nothing we can actually do about that. Like, just like that goal from Envy and Slayer linking up there in the dying embers of that game number one. Beautifully done. And if, like I say, if you are the Tempests, that's not necessarily them playing badly, because they have played excellently so far. But it was just the magic, the creativity of the combination play of Envy and Slayer that made that play possible. Of course, anchored well by Cedric for pretty much the majority of that entire game. But we're into game two now, and that will be long forgotten. At least you would hope so if you are the Tempests. That's a double commit though. Not what you want to be doing against this side. They will make you pay, but that's good defending by Subi as we cross the minute mark.
Yeah, and I think the first minute is played more so like the first game as well. There's a lot of offense on the side of Stormshadows, but nothing too dangerous as of yet. And this fast transition from Samez and G-Wood's aggression, trying to get that boost again, and they get a little bit more control, is what they need to do. And I like that from them. They shouldn't be too disheartened. They got 2 goals in that first game, but it feels like a mountain to climb. As it's only a best of 3, they only need 1 more game, and it's all over straight away. And we see a lot of best of 5s, a lot of best of 7 formats and show matches, so it might not be something they're used to. Pass coming out of Cedric, great, and Slayer maybe the first time he's put it off the target, but a lot of pressure from the Stormshadows again, and it's looking really tough for the Tempests to get it into the Stormshadows side.
Well, I saw the Stormshadows. The Slayer puts that one home for 1-0. They've opened up the scoring crucially for the Stormshadows, I should say, because it felt like it was coming Slayer there reading the save from Subi, puts it home, and the Stormshadows have a 1-0 lead. I saw them yesterday, Stanley. I saw them after that defeat against the Armed Esports Falcons. We had a chat with them, and they were in good spirits. Noting that they were on such little hours due to, a variety of work-related reasons and inavailability. Considering how they grew into that series going into the end of it, if you even include the illnesses, it was a lot to contend with as Envy doubles the lead, and yet they grew into that series really nicely and fought back right to the end. Of course, it was a class Falcons performance that saw them take the win. And that is now 3-0, by the way, Falcons on Stormshadows, since Onzo has joined that stacked side with Gids and Wormsley. But they'll be happy with how that went in the end, and they'll take confidence from this, if it keeps going this way, for when they next meet at the end of the month in the Inter-Service Spring Qualifier.
Yeah, and I think a notable thing to be said is they've come out and they don't seem in this second game to be getting caught on the transition, and they've still been dribbled at times out of Sanders, out of G-Wood, the bangs over, but they seem to have a slightly deeper third. They have a little bit better structure, and Slayer is always found in that second man role, in that midfield role. He may not always have the boost, but he's always got control of the ball, and it's giving them options to pass it in field for the last 2 games, and that's what's really, really giving them so much offensive pressure. It's easy to predict dribbles and solo plays. It's not easy to predict if there's an option of a pass in field as well.
I'm telling you now, when Slayer is, logging hours on the game, when he is playing anywhere near his best, he is a different animal, an old school player, a classical playstyle, nothing, no nonsense, nothing silly, but he's adding finesse to his game now. We've seen a couple of wonderful dribbles, that beautiful solo goal, and like I say, when he is near his best, he is an unreal player to contend with. But as of right now, the Tempests are hanging on to a 2-goal deficit here. They really need something, as Ed goes for a nutty sideball. It would have been anyway, had it come through. Danny Boy, good evening to you in the chat. I hope you are doing well. As the Slayer goes up, trying to advance Stormshadows downfield, but Subi with a good interception, and trying to inspire the Tempests to some kind of a fight back in this next minute. It's going to be tough for them, Stanley, but it's certainly not impossible.
Yeah, I think a minute left, it doesn't look like it's possible, but if they can get that goal, it's just a 1-goal deficit. They've looked at kickoffs recently, credit that every team has, but there's no reason they can't pull out a little sneaky kickoff. Maybe they've been practicing it in the scrims they've had in the last couple of days, and there's no reason, if they get one, they can't double it and get into that OT. But it just looks more and more impossible as the seconds tick down. Cedric can go for these mechanical plays all series, and he can't quite pull it off.
Up goes Subi now. Maybe one last third of dice. That's a good demo. So that's a good bump, and it almost came off. But somehow Slayer recovered the car. Now you can see their limited boost. This is better from the Tempest, but it's too little too late as far as time now. The best of 3 punishes you like that. It's the RAF Stormshadows that start off their journey this evening with a win. And Slayer will put that one home into the empty net. The Stormshadows will be absolutely buzzing with that as they march on to Ramstein qualification. The Tempest again have it all to do now going forward. And what a first game, what a first series that one was, Stanley.
Yeah, I think that final goal really evaluates the series quite well. It was a pass, infield, Slayer, and he puts it home again. And, okay, 7 shots that game. 2 only came off, but all those shots he's getting, I think, apart from one I maybe commented on, they're all on target. They're all heavy touches. He's getting his corner flips on. He's hitting the ball well, and he's hitting it with speed. And it's putting so much pressure on the side of Tempests just to make saves constantly. And it means that they can't have that boost, can't have that composure to then transition out. And I think, like you said, he's been on low hours. He's been busy with work, but he's had that warm-up yesterday, and they're a resilient team. Although they lost yesterday against the Army side, they've come in today, and they look very, very good. And they've snowballed from their progression of yesterday.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that one. They look a side that is refreshed after yesterday's performance. And like I say, it was a performance that they grew into as time went on. And it shows, because today, they pretty much picked up right where they left off. And well, we're on to our next game on stream, which we're bringing to you in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Just make sure the players are ready, and we'll go into it. So just a little bit of preparation required, and then we'll be right back to you with the action. Yeah, we'll see you all in about 5-6 minutes.
Was born in the shadow, be tough as the cries in Apollo. Cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow. Keep everyone short like staccatos, I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down, fucking the world that is shallow, it still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow, smoking this joint in soprano. Nightmare trees, I can't eat dreams, depressing trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves, the wasted genes. Overweight shirt up and wasted jeans. Play my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural, I take this speed. Demons in bed, to the bullet might help. Couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing I can gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing I can gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leading. Pray I wake from dreaming. Light in my eyes, shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills. Those bills might kill me. Piano was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living. The stress I just can't be explained. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. A plug in the drain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning. running in shadow. Be tough as the cries in Apollo, cause life is a bitch with an ammo. She sucking and swallow. Keep everyone shut like staccatos. I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down. Fucking a world that is shallow. We still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow. Smoking the joint and soprano. Nightmare trees. I can't eat dreams. Depressing trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves. The wasted jeans. Overweight shit up and wasted jeans. Play my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural. I take this sleep. Demons in bed. To the bullet might help. Couple shots to the head. Ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain. I'll feel again. Just turned 23. Still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain. I'll feel again. Just turned 23. Still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons. So been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leading. Pray I wake up dreaming. Light in my eyes shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills. Still cover my bills. Just bills might kill me. Piano was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living. The stress I just can't explain. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. A clog in the drain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning. Was born in the shadow, be tough as the clouds in Apollo. Cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow. Keep everyone shut like staccatos, I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down, fucking the world that is shallow, we still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow, smoking this joint in soprano. Nightmare trees, the painting dreams, depressing trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves, the wasted jeans. Overweight shirt up and wasted jeans. Playing my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural, I take this lead. Demons in bed to the bullet, my help. Couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing I could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing I could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mind full of leaving. Pray I wake, I'm dreaming. Light in my eyes, shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills. Those pills might kill me. Piano was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I'm Michael insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living. The stress I just can't be explained. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. A clog in the brain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning. Was born in the shadow, be tough as the clouds in Apollo. Cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow. Keep everyone shut like staccatos, I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down, fucking the world that is shallow, we still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow, smoking this joint in soprano. Nightmare trees, the painting dreams, the depression trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves, the wasted jeans. Overweight shirt up and wasted jeans. Playing my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural, I take this lead. Demons in bed, so the bullet might help. Couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindfully leaving. Pray I wake up.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. It is the RAF Tempests taking on the RAF Shadows next. And after I thought it was anyway a good performance from the RAF Tempests in that first game against a, honestly, pretty much faultless RAF Stormshadows, apart from maybe the first 10 seconds of game number 1. How do you think G Wood and co will be feeling after that performance? I thought they actually played quite well, and they were just beaten by a side that just had clinical moments. I mean, that Envy pre-flip, for example. I don't think it was that the Tempests were bad, because I thought they were very good, but I thought they were overcome by a pretty much faultless Storm Shadows side.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, there is a difference on paper between the two teams, and if the favourites turn up, which they did, it's going to be a pretty immovable object, a mountain to climb. So they should be able to regain, and they should feel confident coming into this next one. But I think also on the side of Shadows, they've just come off the back of a 2-0 victory, and they've beat Hurricanes, who in the token match they were close and they struggled against, but they swept them 2-0. I don't know how close the games were, but they've got to be confident coming in. And I think with the addition of Logan, I think that might have maybe been the difference. But this is going to be a close one again, and this is going to be a very interesting game.
I'm certainly excited for this one. Noting as well that the Hurricanes are without Asher as well, which is obviously one of their most dangerous assets. Unfortunately, is on a work-related duty in the evenings at the moment. So that could have made a difference, but regardless, the Shadows still had to beat who was in front of them. And it was, Stanley, a dominant win, actually, by the looks of things. It was 4-0 in Game 1, and then a 2-1 in Game 2, with the Hurricanes goal coming on quite late as they pushed for a way back in. But, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on your screens, it is the RAF Shadows and the RAF Tempests in Game 2 of this round robin. There will be games going on off stream as well, and I'll keep you updated with the results as we get them. But Stanley, what are your predictions going to be?
I think it's going to be a 2-0 victory for the side of the Tempests. Although they didn't maybe get too much offense opportunity, I think they were just overwhelmed by a very good performance from the Storm Shadows. So I think they take it away 2-0. But we've seen it happen in the past where this Shadows team, they can step up to the plate, and with all 4 players at hand, they are a dangerous, dangerous team. So it'll be interesting to see how this one unfolds as we're opening up into Game 1.
What a result it could be for the RAF Shadows as Logan comes close. Firing into that top left. It was a great save in the end. I didn't quite see who the Tempest third man was. It might have been Keanu, but it was an excellent save. Rahab, good evening to you, brother. I hope you are doing well. Nice to have you here as you join us to see which 2 Royal Air Force teams will qualify to represent the Royal Air Force in Germany at Ramstein Air Base this July in the Allied Forces Esports Invitational. So far, you've missed the Storm Shadows beating the Tempests in game number 1, and in game number 2, the Tempests are off to a good start against the RAF Shadows.
Yeah, and I think this is what we wanted to see. The resilience from the side of the Tempests, showing why they're that second team. And maybe it's the addition of Keanu. Maybe it's just a different game, different series. They've reset. They've got a little bit more time, a little bit more space. But they look like the offensive demons that they were facing in the last series. I'm just losing my words. And that was an excellent counter-attack. And this is the mechanical plays, maybe the speed we see when we see Logan, when we see Roman linking up together. It's a great transition from Roman. He finds his teammate in the midfield, and that is textbook Shadows. I refer to it every time on the stream. The infield passes the team plays, and they're up, Logan gets the read, and it's 1-1 straight away, and they bounce back.
Shadows doing what they do best, doing what's in their blood, which is to not know when they are beaten, and up goes Keanu, looking to inspire a lead for the RAF Tempests. G-Wood centers it. Doromus is there though, good first touch from Doromus, has enough boost to chase it, gets the flip reset, uses the flip reset, challenges Keanu. A nice attempt there by Roman, followed up by Logan, there's the shot! And G-Wood saves at the near post, and currently, Stanley, it's the Shadows that are on top.
Yeah, I think that first kickoff looked good, and they got some pressure, they got that 1-0 victory, but since then, they seem to be a little bit lost on the field, and we're seeing maybe low boost, but Logan gets the shot off anyway, and it's passing plays again. That anchor, he's found the space, he's took his time, he's passed it into his teammate, and he didn't even need to connect with the ball too much, other than just hit it forwards. That's exactly what Logan's done, he's hit it behind the defender, and it's just taken it past him. And this is what you can expect out of the Shadows. They are my favourite team, they are an incredible team, and going 1-0 down doesn't faze them. They've come back, and they've got their own lead, and 1 goal ahead now, they're looking like the favourites.
Stanley, we've seen a number of historic results for the RAF Shadows over the years. Could they be about to add another one to that? And it's a good equaliser from Wax Lyrical. Keanu there, pinching it home, crucially for the RAF Tempests that found its way into the back of the net. And G-Wood doing enough to just spray it out, and it pinched in to that bottom left of the Shadows net. And Tempests have temporary reprieve as we get a Sui request from Pulse Flyer. Pulse, here you go, my friend. Sue!
And yeah, you see, 2-2, it's all square again. And although it's a pinch and a great play by Keanu, I like the aggressive challenges out of the Shadows. I like them trying to get that midfield control. And although it didn't go well for them, that second goal, they're still putting a lot of pressure onto the side of Tempests, and they're not letting them gain momentum. They're not letting them get comfortable with their first touches, which maybe they're not totally confident with at the moment, as they lost that last year. Great save from Roman, and he looks like he's been swinging from Roman. He's just trying to get those beats, he's trying to create that space on the pitch for his two teammates, and they seem to be finding each other really, really well. And I think the fair thing to say as well is these are the two most active teams currently in the RAF, and the practice is really showing dividends on the pitch, as this is a very fast, high-intense game.
This really is delivering us, arguably, maybe already going for game of the night. It's been relentless for me, both of these two sides. There is an open net from G-Wood. It was a good bump onto the car of Kurt by Keanu there in the back line. It found its way into the back of the net. And unfortunately for the Shadows, they fall behind the goal. G-Wood clutching up for the Tempests after some good work from Keanu. They find themselves in front yet again.
Yeah, and I think those physical plays are what the Tempests are maybe known for. That's their signature. So when they've got that boost control, when they've got that map control, you really, really need to be hyper aware of your surroundings. There's always going to be that first map that you put a bump on you when you're seeing the Shadows. You need to just try keep your recoveries, try keep your speed as much as possible, maybe a wider rotation, whatever it takes. Dodging those physical plays. Infield again, open net. There, G-Wood can't quite make the save, and that's a great, great shot, and absolutely hammers it home, and it just gets past the defender. Incredible stuff. That third man, so high up, so aggressive, even when he's low boost, and he just identifies the pressure that the Shadows have.
My voice cracking under the pressure of that Shadows effort on goal. It's 3-3 into the final minute now, and who would have thought it? The Shadows playing excellently here against a Tempest side that are on fine form as of recent. They've been on the grind, improving anything from comms to mechanics to scrimming very high level teams. This is a Tempest side that are at their best that they have been for a long, long time, and they look good. But at the moment, the Shadows able to live with them, and they've just gone toe to toe for this whole 5-minute period. And Subi links up with Keanu, and a last-ditch save on the goal mouth there by Logan. Falls into Subi, puts it onto the post. G-Wood sweeping the back line, Demos dodged though as the Shadows survive.
Yeah, and I think boost control is just a vital thing for both teams here. And somehow, he gets it past both defenders. That first man couldn't quite connect with the ball. And it leaves the last man so awkward in net. Roman couldn't quite get up in time. And that's really unfortunate for the Shadows, who have looked so flawless in defence, although letting in 4 goals.
Tight squeeze that, says Rob. Indeed it was. What can the Shadows do? Do they have one more answer to one more question the Tempests have asked them? There goes Kurt, and it does hit the ground. It is the RAF Tempests. It is a good win for them in game number 1. But Stanley, that was a very good performance as well from the RAF Shadows.
Yeah, advantage to Tempests, but Shadows, do not count them out of it. I think you can see the goals all come in the way of Logan, but very, very impressed with Doromus and Kurt. The way they're linking up, they're looking for the passes, they're opening up space for the men behind them, and I think more so than usual, the offensive pressure is there for the Shadows. They're getting more beats than usual, even against players that are usually slightly better, slightly faster on the pitch, on paper, but they're getting those beats, they're getting those good challenges, and they're finding each other. They need to keep doing that, but just try keep a little bit more boost, try keep a little bit more speed at times. They're getting caught 0, and they're still making the saves with a little bit more recoveries, a little bit more efficiency and boost. There's no reason they can't take this to game 3. Maybe take it away.
And we are looking good now. I'm going to just turn you up, Stanley. Thank you very much, Ed. Let me know if that's better. We are good to go for game number 2 here, of course. Best of 3, so this is 2 match points. And Stanley, just for sound's sake, let me know again, if you can, as to who might win this first game. That's a great save from Doromus.
I'm actually going to call against what I went for previously, and I'm going to say the Shadows are going to reverse sweep them here. I think the Shadows have come out, and they look absolutely exceptional, and it's interesting note to take is Kurt has subbed himself out, and he's put Greyman in. Now, personally, I think that's them going for a glass cannon play. We know what the Greyman's capable of. We know what Steve's capable of. And his transitions, defense to offense, is exceptional. And if he can get that going, if he can get those plays going, I think he offers a little bit more offensively, maybe a little bit more of the beat. And that's going to create space for the Shadows. And they can definitely take it all the way.
Shadows, though, so far so good here in the second game. Big comeback here for the Shadows, says Rob, but that won't go the way of that hypothesis. It's 1-0 at the near post. Courtesy of Keanu after some more fine work down that right-hand side from G-Wood, beating 2, bumping the 3rd. That is vintage G-Wood.
Yeah, and we're talking about those aggressive plays again. That's what's going to create them the space. That's what's going to put the Shadows, who have solid rotations, solid positioning, out of position, out of rotation. How are they meant to filter back in when they get out of touch with their rhythm? Maybe they can't adjust perfectly, but it's bouncing across the net. Can they get there first? It's cycling in, trickling in, and G-Wood just about gets the save. Subi on the transition, their low boost. The physical plays now coming out of the Shadows. Can they transition? They can't. Last man, Greyman on the ball. Can't beat 2, but they seem to be getting those beats on that first man still. And Keanu out of nowhere gets the wall read, and that's a great read off the side. And he just puts it away and gets it on target. And it's just too much for the last man, the Shadows.
Excellent finish from Keanu, doubling the lead for the RAF Tempests, doing their utmost best to put this game out of sight of this very resilient RAF Shadow side. That is Envy with a sub. Thank you so much, Envy, for the sub, bro. You know where the money goes to. We really appreciate it. The community appreciates it. And we'll be investing that straight back into you fine gentlemen in the wonderful RAF Stormshadows community. Big up you all. You are a joy to be around. And to have events like this on so many different occasions brings me to, give you some very powerful emotions. So thank you all again. Envy, thank you so much for the sub as we move forward with this match point for the RAF Tempest. And they are looking at converting it though, but the Shadows finding their way back into it. That's a cracking effort by Doromus. Unfortunate that it came off the bar. And the Tempests at the moment are hanging on to this 2-goal lead, but they do so quite comfortably, I would say, if not for the crossbar.
Yeah, and I think there's moments for the Shadows that they might look back on and just be a little bit disappointed they couldn't convert any of their chances. They had that kick-off at 2-0 down. They've still got 2 minutes, they've still got time. They've had a couple trickle over the goal line. They've had the one off the crossbar, similarly to the way of the Army yesterday, who were loving the crossbar and just couldn't get away from it. But they are creating chances. There is a case where they can come back. But with the transition that fast, that good, Logan somehow keeps it out. The crossbar keeping it out the other side of the pitch this time. And the ball is just up and down the field like a yo-yo. And you can't help but think, with 90 seconds left, anything can still happen.
Thank you very much, Rob, for the confirmation. I do appreciate it. As you say, we're in the final minute and a half now. What do the Shadows have left in the tank? They have really played a good series, and it's almost the reverse of what happened with the RAF Stormshadows and the RAF Tempests, where the Tempests were, in my opinion, in really good form, playing really well. They were just beaten by a Stormshadows side who were just pretty much faultless, barring maybe 1, maximum 2 moments. It's almost the reverse here, because the Shadows look excellent, Stadium, and I don't think I'm doing them an injustice by saying that. They look really, really good, but they've just been beaten by a clinical, arguably almost faultless Tempest side, just in the way that the Stormshadows did it to them. There goes another shot whizzing past the near post, and the Shadows still in search of a route back into this one.
Yeah, I think for the Shadows, it's just slightly bit more disappointing, as they have had that offensive pressure at times. They have created chances. They've had opportunity to maybe take them toe-to-toe, take them to the overtime, just take them that one step further. But like you say, the practice, the experience from the Tempests, they just look slightly too good. And I think the exciting thing for me to see is, at times, I can see the fakes, I can see the team plays, the communication really coming through, the improvement they've shown in the last week or so, and it's really, really good to see in their gameplay.
And from a Shadows perspective, they should be delighted with how they performed. And who knows, as that ball will hit the floor, it is a Tempest win. I think if these two were to meet again in the qualification match potentially later on, I've seen stranger things happen, Kyle, on this channel than a Shadow side who look as good as they do, beating a Tempest side who also look really, really good. It's that kind of evening. It's a warm evening, lovely evening, by the way, in the UK. Anything is possible, especially when the Shadows are playing like that. They have taken names that are on that level and more, Kyle. So I'm sure we'll see that game later on. I don't know how things will pan out. But, Kyle, for now, we'll be taking another short break whilst we prepare the next game and the final game of this round-robin format before we go into the single elim. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with you in just a moment. Firstly, actually, Shadows just need shooting packs. Agreed, Cedric. If they had that, they would have had at least a couple goals in them, which, yeah, could have changed things. But anyway, back in a moment, everybody. We'll see you shortly for the last game of the round robin. Take care for now.
was born in the shadow, be tough as the clouds in Apollo, cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she's sucking and swallow, keep everyone short like staccatos, I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow, stuck in a pad and it's down, fucking the world that is shallow, we still never follow, straight to the point like an arrow, smoking this joint in soprano, nightmare trees, the painting dreams, depression trees, that grow like weeds, my blood and leaves, the wasted jeans, overweight shirt up and wasted jeans, plain my scene with a wasted scene, living unnatural, I take this lead, demons in bed, to the bullet might help, couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning me, try to breathe again, what's the cause, lost family, nothing I can gain, I'll feel again, just turned 23, still ain't free from pain, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning me, try to breathe again, what's the cause, lost family, nothing I can gain, I'll feel again, just turned 23, still ain't free from pain, don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding, gun to my head should be easy, way too close to my demons, mind full of leaving, pray I wake up dreaming, light in my eyes shut demon, days seem dark, no meaning, running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills, just bills might kill me, piano was playing, so many kids feeling hollow and sorrow, I might go insane, mind full of change, so many ways on my spirit, I promise I'm done with the pain, physical pain, feels like I'm tired of living, the stress, I just can't be explained, done with the rain, feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning, a clog in the drain, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning.
Welcome back, as we are already at the end of our round robin format here between all four of our Royal Air Force representative rosters. It has been so far two really good games on stream. I can only imagine what the off-stream games would have looked like, especially the one at the start between the Shadows and the Hurricanes. I would have loved to have streamed that, and if I wasn't ill, I probably would have as well. But nevertheless, it is the final one of round robin before we move into the AFEI qualification game. And again, please note that the grand final tonight, by the time we get to that grand final best of 7, there will be already our two teams selected to go to Germany. It's that all-important semi-final tonight that will determine which two teams make the Germany as a qualified team. So really excited for that one, Stanley. But before I give the players the go-ahead, I'd like to know what your thoughts are once again.
Yeah, I'm thinking Tempest, they just cracked through a very, very solid Shadows side. I think without Asher here today, I think offensively, Hurricanes going to be lacking a little bit. So I do predict that Tempest is going to sweep them 2-0. But nonetheless, Hurricanes, they've got Sully, who's improving fast. I've not seen JDS too much. I saw him the one time.
Good player.
I liked what
Good
I
player.
saw. He was very solid. And Cuddles, on his day, is a force to be reckoned with fundamentals. He has that experience where he's played at a decent level. And he can do it. We see again the spectator cam. I'm loving we got full attendance in the Champions Field. We're seeing the new production and we're seeing the game 1 kickoff between Tempests and Hurricanes. And it's a good start for the Tempests. They get it mid. Samez goes up as last man. Is that an overcommit? No. Keanu can recover. And this time we see G Wood take himself out of the game. And he's going to watch on the sidelines.
Keanu goes clearing out on the back line there of the Hurricanes, who start the game pinned inside their own half. Bit of a misplay there from Samez. Frees up the ball for Keanu. Enough boost for the Hurricanes to deal with this, but it's a double miss, and it forces a good save by JDS. Had to stay composed there at the near post, and with limited boost manages to complete the clearance, courtesy of his teammate and captain Sully. And so far, already an exciting opening minute to this one, but the Hurricanes managing to survive.
Yeah, I'm liking the Hurricanes' defense at the moment. They're sitting a little bit deep, but they seem to have decent boost on all of their players, and they're quite comfortable with not having possession, which is important. You're playing a team who are slightly better on paper, so you need to just have that understanding that you're not always going to be in possession of the ball, in control of the ball. But just know that if you keep that outlet, if you keep that first man high, there's no reason you can't have those fast transitions and still cause a massive threat offensively to your opponents.
That's some shot by Samez at the near post, and some save from Cuddles, by the way. That needed saving, and it needed saving very, very well, which Cuddles thankfully was able to provide for his team. And Hurricanes are doing alright here. They're managing to survive. That's a bit of a misplay though, and will it lead to the opening goal for Samez and the RAF Tempests? And it indeed does. Good flick by Subi, forces a mistake outside there, and in fairness, a very difficult ball to read. And the Tempests take the lead.
And I think that's the important thing to highlight there. It was a forced mistake. I think the beat from Subi there showing his mechanical brilliance, and it just comes off an awkward area of the ceiling, and it's coming over the top of Sully's head. It's a really awkward camera angle to be getting the read of the ball. So it's unfortunate that he couldn't get there, and Sully centimetres away from getting the recovery and the save.
Up goes Samez for a double! Puts it into the roof of the net, doubling the lead for the RAF Tempests, who now look firmly in control of this one. Good first touch, lethal second, and all good now for the Tempests, who will look to take their place in the semi-final with a good seeding. Unless, of course, Hurricanes can come back in games 2 and 3. But on the current evidence of play, the Tempests do look a little bit too strong. However, you can never count out this Hurricane side, who have also shown it on more than one occasion.
Yeah, and I think although they're a new side, they show such experience and such team play, regardless of their experience. Samez again, going for the solo play. He's on the wall and he's showing off his mechanics. And this is something I've spoken to him. He's referred back to it previously. Without the experience, without the practice in place, he didn't feel he had that freedom to go for these mechanical plays. And not many people maybe knew he had it in him, but now they're playing more, now they've got that understanding of their roles in the team. He's getting a lot more space to do what he wants on the ball. We've seen the double tap, we've seen that air dribble, and he's looking very, very dangerous, and that's his hat trick. He's looking incredible on the pitch. Everything he touches is gold.
And again, steaming in at that near post. Little change of the camera angle. And the Tempests quadruple their lead now. And there's still time for them to make that even more emphatic. For the Hurricanes, though, I love that they're still gunning and giving it their all. They just need to get a singular goal, in my opinion, which might cause some kind of shift in momentum. Who knows? Stranger things have happened in Rocket League than a team almost forcing a fight back just from 1 goal down in a very unlikely format. And there is a nice shot from Sully at the near post. But Samez with a really good save, keeping that all-important clean sheet intact for the RAF Tempests. And that was such a good opportunity, and it was well taken by Sully. But Samez was just too good at the near post.
Yeah, I think for the side of the Hurricanes right now, they just need to get a goal, and that's what they've done. Okay, it's a consolation. With 2 minutes left on the clock, like you said, stranger things have happened. It seems out of reach, slightly unrealistic to be climbing a mountain against a team that is on paper better than you, but offensively, they are up to the challenge, they're up to the task. They maybe don't have the same structure, the same experience of the Shadows, but what they do have is heart, grit, offensive pressure and power, and they win the kickoff. It's a great follow from Sully, taking the boost in the midfield so that no player can recover, and they win the kickoff. And now, 2 goals, just under 2 minutes left. It seems now within the realm of possibility, and they're playing so confidently regardless of the scoreline that this offensive pressure is not going to let down.
Full credit to this RAF Hurricane side, who are trying to storm a comeback here against the Tempests. And it's like I said, I've seen stranger things before happen before than a comeback from 4 goals to just 4 goals down. It really is as simple as just 1 goal going in your favour, and momentum just shifting. And JDS, by the way, that was not an easy chance. Yes, the net was open, but he had no boost, had to pre-flip onto a pad and then convert his car to face the right way. Did it exceptionally well and puts the Hurricanes back within 2 and now within touching distance of the RAF Tempests, who admittedly look like they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit. Is that them slightly underestimating the Hurricanes? If it was, they'll stop doing that now, because the Hurricanes look revitalised as we head into this final 45 seconds, Stanley.
Yeah, I think for the Tempests, it's just about keeping your head, keep that composure, and you really need to be on the ball at all times. When you're getting challenged, when there's that unhinged aggression coming out of a team, then you need to be alert at all times. Be aware of the insta-challenge. Be aware of the speed they possess. They have good boost, they have good aggression, and if in offense they can score multiple goals, they have proven that. They've got 2 goals under their belt, and then going into the rest of the series, they can be confident that they can get a victory, they can get a lead, and that was a great transition again. The aggression, JDS bangs it into Sully. Sully, he's upfield, he's waiting for it, he's confident, and Subi's nowhere to be seen in third man, and he's caught on low boost. And if they could just keep that high boost pressure, that map control, there's no reason that a high scoring game, maybe they will concede a few, but with that aggression, they're definitely going to score as well. And it's just a matter of being clinical enough that they get more than the opponent.
The Hurricanes doing a fantastic job here to fight back. It will surely hit the floor, and it will be the Tempest unless there's one more sting in the tail from the Hurricanes. Good touch by Samez. It will touch the floor, and the Tempest take another 1-0 lead in this round robin format. It'll be the last game of the round robin format on stream. But it wasn't all their own way, Stanley. It was a fine comeback attempt from the Hurricanes, notably from JDS scoring that ridiculously well taken pre-flip onto a pad and then adjustment of a goal. That was, it bamboozled me really. And then good goals as well from Captain Sully. Almost forced the comeback for the Hurricanes, and they will fancy their chances going into game 2. For the Tempests, again, they've been very, very good. Samez with 4 goals to his name that last game, and they'll be left wondering really what they did wrong to concede 3.
Yeah, I think maybe they just took their foot off the gas a little bit, but massive credit to JDS. I mentioned not seeing his gameplay too much. I mentioned maybe missing Asher for the offensive pressure, but he's stepped up to that plate, and he's shown that they don't need Asher. They've got JDS.
Speaking of which,
he's the man right now.
I don't know if you've just seen that, Stanley. Speaking
Asher
of which,
has joined the match.
Oh my god, I did not expect
And
that.
I'm unaware of whether he's been warming up, whether he's been back for too long. Whether he'll join this game, we will find out very, very shortly. Which he has. Cuddles is out, and Asher is in. Now, that offense I was on about, referring back to, are they just going to try score more than the opponents? Keep playing with that aggression. With Asher, you can't help but think it is very, very much possible that with all the momentum they carry from that first game, they can snowball and get plenty more goals coming into game 2.
Drama theatre here on the RAF Stormshadows channel. Qualification for the Allied Forces Esports Invitational is at stake. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a shot at the near post. The Hurricanes looking, they're hunting, but 1 versus 1 between Keanu and JDS. Keanu dinks it high, and it was very well forced by JDS, who forced the high shot from Keanu. That's a nice first touch from him, and now up he goes. Scampers down left-hand side. Looks infield, looks for a shot. 50-50 with Keanu. But Keanu's defense is too solid on that particular offensive maneuver. That's a good demo. That will be a very good save from JDS. Relentless pressure though from the Tempest. Keanu puts home at the near post. And a lightning start to game 2. See the Tempest take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I liked the start for the Hurricanes. They kept themselves in, but then just within the first minute, they concede that goal. And it just seems like it's a little bit more challenging now. That first goal means everything in that short format. It's very important. You can get that victory, get that confidence. The double doesn't come through from Samez this time. It's a great save, comes off the crossbar as well. But the offensive pressure has just flipped. And the aggression aerially is very, very tough to stop when you've got the likes of Samez, you've got the likes of Keanu, you've got the likes of Subi challenging you in the air, and they're just so mechanical, so fast, that it's really hard to suppress them.
Stanley, thank God one of us knows about this game, because that is some fine knowledge from you. Oh, that's a good bounce in favour of the Tempest. It was 50'd central to that Hurricanes net, and it was Samez on the end of it to slot home there. You can see at that far post, JDS could do nothing about it. It was unlucky from his perspective. But the Tempest make their lead double going into 3 minutes and 30. However, ladies and gentlemen, it was a similar story in the last game, and they climbed to a 4-0 lead early on. And it was the Hurricanes that were able to come back again and force it to be within 1 goal in those last couple of seconds, and anything could have happened. So they won't fear what they are currently going through. They will not fear it. And it's a challenge accepted pretty much now for the Hurricanes. They've got to make something happen. And it will be something special if it does happen to come back here. And it probably will be something that in the history of the RAF Stormshadows channel will be right up there with some of the most insane results of Rocket League that we've ever had. Certainly will be right up there, if of course it can happen. And there goes JDS, looking to get on the end of that pass from Asher. Didn't quite come off. And at the moment, the Tempest's 2-0 lead survives.
Yeah, and I think it's credit to all the teams. The depth in the RAF right now is, we're seeing probably for the first time all of the RAF teams playing at some of their best Rocket League all at the same time, coming face to face, and it's just Titan matches upon Titan matches this evening. And although 2 down, they do still offer that offensive pressure, but I think Tempest's now more aware to the offense and the danger of Hurricanes. They're not going to switch off the same way they did in game 1. And although it's half the distance to travel back, that 2-goal instead of 4-goal deficit, it still seems just as challenging when there's a match point on the line.
The Hurricanes doing themselves proud here. We creep under the 2-minute mark. Samez tries to pre-jump Asher. Asher lightning fast. Had a great attempt, but it was a good save by the Tempest third man. I believe it was Subi. JDS looks infield towards Captain Sully. Captain Sully has a ring to it. I just realised, by the way. I might just keep that one up. That's got a really nice ring to it. But anyway, back to the action. It's Asher with another 50. That time on Samez. Up comes JDS. Limited boost. So Sully takes over the play. Keanu with good pass out to his captain, but takes it off him as well. Composed play from Keanu. Beats one. Looks towards Subi, but Sully there to intercept now as we're into the final minute and 30. Is there a comeback again from the Hurricanes? It happened late into game number 1. No reason why it can't happen late into game number 2. Sully might be able to turn here, but Keanu with a good beat. JDS sweeps in and maintains pressure for the Hurricanes here. Has limited boost. He's just got to throw himself at it and try to put off Samez. Asher takes over the play. Samez clears. Not the best clearance though. Asher will have a shot on goal. And steady now into the final minute. And the Hurricanes looking a little bit down and out. It's not for the one to try, and they've been very, very good. But the Tempest defense holding firm.
Yeah, I think the Tempests are just playing that defensive game. They're looking to just hold on to that lead for as long as possible, saying, if you do get that goal, it's just going to be too late. But with a 3-goal victory, 3-goal lead now, and 3-goal deficit for the Hurricanes, it just seems too little too late for them. And you just can't help but feel for them. If Asher could have got back sooner, if maybe a couple of their plays worked a little bit better in that game 1, maybe they could have pegged it to overtime and they could have taken it to game 3. But unfortunately, Tempests, wise to their mistakes, have not made the mistake twice. And I think credit to Sames this series. He has been absolutely excellent. It doesn't matter if he's taking the ball in the midfield. It doesn't matter if the ball's coming 200 kph into the midfield. He's there and he's taking the shot every time. And today, it is hitting the back of the net every single time, and he's done it again. 8 seconds left, 4th goal, and Sames is just scoring countless number of goals in this series.
Excellent stuff from the former captain of the RAF Tempests. That captaincy now, for anybody not aware, has been handed over officially to Elliot Greenwood. And is he the captain they didn't deserve but needed? If you're a Batman fan, that's a fine save from Asher. And although it was 4-0 to the Tempests this time round, I think it's only fair to say the Hurricanes deserve their credit. They really fought hard, and they're not out of it yet, though, as this result is confirmed, I will let you know before we even look at the leaderboards, thanks to Cedric in the chat, thank you very much, Ed, by the way, that the RAF Shadows have confirmed 3rd place, the RAF Hurricanes are confirmed in 4th place, the Tempests 2nd, and the Stormshadows 1st. Those are your round-robin standings as we head now into the business end of the tournament. Best of 5 for this qualification match. It will be the Stormshadows against the RAF Hurricanes and the RAF Tempests against the RAF Shadows. Those will be your qualification fixtures now. The winner of those will make the grand final, but by that point you are already in Germany and you can start booking those plane tickets. I'm so excited for that, by the way. And Kyle, now that we know those fixtures, do you have any idea, any inklings as to who might be on that plane?
I think as far as experience goes, I think the Stormshadows should be able to take a victory against the Hurricanes, even in the best of 5 format. I think they should be able to get a sweep. They have that level, and we've not seen them on the stream for the last 2 rounds. But if they're snowballing the way they've been playing from the first series, then they are going to look formidable right now, and they're going to be a massive titan to take down. But the one series I'm really looking forward to is that rematch. We saw it on stream, and we saw Shadows. They were pushing them so close. And Tempest, they look good. But we know that is a historical matchup. Anything can happen in that game. And the way Logan's playing, the way that Roman's playing, there is no reason that Shadows team can't push the Tempest very far and maybe cause an upset. And with the pressure of Germany on every single player, anything can happen in these semi-finals.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Staley. And on that bombshell, it will be the RAF Stormshadows versus the Hurricanes first on stream. Yeah, both games will be on stream for this one. I want both qualifications fixtures to be on stream, so we are going to go both, which is a deviation from the plan. I do apologise. I probably should let you all know, but I fancy it. I want all 4 teams to get the spotlight that they deserve, because it's been a monumental effort this evening from every single player, every single RAF team. And yeah, we'll be right back in about 5 minutes time, hopefully less. We'll just get the next game set up and we'll get it underway live on stream, and we'll see you all in about 5.
born in the shadow, be tough as the cries in Apollo, cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow, keep everyone short like staccatos, I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow, stuck in a pad and it's down, fucking the world that is shallow, we still never follow, straight to the point like an arrow, smoking the joint and soprano, nightmare trees, the planting dreams, depressing trees, that grow like weeds, my blood and leaves, the wasted jeans, overweight shirt up and wasted jeans, playing my scene with a wasted scene, living unnatural, I take this lead, demons in bed, to the bullet might help, couple shots to the head, ain't sleep or deep, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning me, try to breathe again, what's the cost, lost family, nothing I could gain, I'll feel again, just turned 23, still ain't free from pain, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning me, try to breathe again, what's the cost, lost family, nothing I could gain, I'll feel again, just turned 23, still ain't free from pain, don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding, gun to my head should be easy, way too close to my demons, mind full of leaving, pray I wake from dreaming, light in my eyes, shut demon, days seem dark, no meaning, running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills, just pills might kill me, piano was playing, so many kids feeling hollow and sorrow, I might go insane, mind full of change, so many ways on my spirit, I promise I'm done with the pain, physical pain, feels like I'm tired of living, the stress, it just can't be explained, done with the rain, feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning, the plug in the drain, I need peace, sleep, energy, trying to dream again, all I see is drowning.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have our first qualification game for Ramstein for the AFEI 2025. Another massive shout out to the US Air Force and Air Force Gaming in particular the association responsible for putting on such a great event alongside many of its partners, most notably Rallycry, who are responsible for actually executing the event themselves. It was a fantastic time last time out in 2024, where the US Air Force took the win again for the second year running. And of course, it's been 2 years since we made our debut. This is our third time in a row, so this will be our third year partaking. So, plenty of drama to be had this time in July. But for now, it's time to pick, Stanley, which team you think is going to be the first to qualify for Germany. And the first choices are the Stormshadows or the RAF Hurricanes.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I say unfortunately, as I love Cuddles, I love Sully in that Hurricanes side. I've been getting to know him a lot with the six-mans going on in the community more recently. But I just think the Stormshadows are too overpowering. I think they're going to take it in 3, and I think they've got that experience. They've got that critical gunning, aggressive nature to just want to get on that plane and want to book their tickets for Germany.
It won't be too much longer now before we get these players going. I'd like one final word as well from myself. I think it's going to be also the Stormshadows win. However, how special would it be for the Hurricane side to come off with a generational performance and put their names down and book their plane tickets for Germany? I mean, that will be, and I'm saying it now, the most historic result of all of RAF Rocket League history. And, well, if it does happen, Stanley, I think I might throw myself out of the window, because it's honestly, it'll be such a crazy result. And again, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened, Kyle, but we'll give the playing signal.
Have definitely happened. The signals have been given, and it is to be noted that it is now best of 5, so it's longer format now, and it's going to be slightly more of a marathon going into the game. But we're going to see kickoff. We saw it from the stands. We saw the crowd. Champions Field all night tonight, and a very, very good kickoff and start for the Stormshadows.
Up goes Slayer, the Heed. Good start from the Stormshadows, already looking towards that Hurricane's net, which will be so juicy for them with how they've been scoring this evening. Asher, though, with a good clearance. Best of 5 now, so as you say, Stanley, a bit more margin for error for both of these two sides. Slayer, good first touch, beats Cuddles. Sully, and gets a demo on Sully, so this will be dangerous. Up goes Cedric. Above Cuddles, 50-50 with Asher, but Sully with a fantastic cut. And the Hurricanes survive at least the first wave of Stormshadow's danger.
Yeah, and I think one notable thing to be said is this is the roster that took down the Shadows. Potentially got one of their best results as a team. So we know what Asher's capable of. He's actually been to Germany before. And Cuddles and Sully, they're very, very fast improving players in the RAF structure right now. And there is no reason why they can't swindle at least one game to give them the confidence to then snowball into the victory. But it's a good start from the Stormshadows. They're creating good plays, and they don't seem to be getting caught with that high third man as much as they were in previous times, last week, yesterday. And we see again Cedric, he's there in the midfield. Slayer enabling his teammates again, and he's there to slam it away into the net. And just not quite enough presence from the Hurricanes in defense.
It's like you say, though, you know, if the Hurricanes can get one game on the board, it changes everything. Like they get confidence from it, and you've seen what they did against the Tempests with some level of confidence to their names when they almost came back from 4 goals down and were a couple of seconds off that equaliser. I mean, that all came from a nice solo play from one of the Hurricanes players, and it meant they found their form, they found their feet, they found their confidence. So who knows what they can do if they can somehow get a goal, a game on the board. Cedric looking dangerous though for the Stormshadows. Drops that one to Envy. Envy back towards Slayer, and a beautiful save from Sully at the near post. It looked for all the will in the world that the Heed was putting that one into the back of the net, but not for a fantastic save by Captain Sully.
Yeah, and I think the notable thing there is extra passes caused the defense to be so challenging. So the extra pass from Slayer, or the extra pass from Cedric into Slayer, meant it was so difficult for that last man. But he adjusts, he makes a save, and it's incredible defense from the side of the Hurricanes. And Storm Shadows really have to bring their A game in offense if they want to be doubling their lead.
A-fence. I like that. I might coin that term, Stanley. A-fence. Sorry, I digress. And Slayer looks to put that one in the near post, but not for a wonderful save from the ever-improving Cuddles, who backs up what Stain has been saying all night long about him, that he's a fast-improving player. But Envy puts that one home for a second, doubling the Storm Shadows lead, who now look firmly in control of this one.
Yeah, and I think although the defense is so good, all it takes is one little mistake. You see Sully there, he backflips, he can't get the challenge, and it's just a little bit too much then. It's relying so much on individual skill in defense from the Hurricanes, and they just can't seem to be able to transfer out of it. And a double again, Slayer, he's putting the ball away. And I think he's been so clinical today, and he's almost looked like a different man. He's had maybe 2 hours practice in the last couple of days, and it's brought him back up to scratch.
That's what I'm saying. I've been saying it. I said it to them yesterday as well in the chat. If that team logs hours together and can find the gap in their schedules, which I know for a fact in June onwards, that will be a pressure that will be lifted from them. That's a nice shot though from Asher. That's a good save from Cedric. But the second that this team logs consistent hours with each other, they will, in my humble opinion, beat that Armed Esports Falcons side and any other military side, at least in the UK, that they come across. However, I've been proven wrong already on 3 occasions by this star-studded Falcons side. However, again, with the variables I mentioned before, I really do believe in what I say. It still says best 3 on the scoreboard. Good spot, Samez. Let me quickly sort that out for you. Hopefully that should be, well, it was all set to go, but now that should be all good. Please let me know. And we are into the final 50 seconds.
It's just more offense out of the Storm Shadows, and they're really keeping possession. But the thing I want to note is, I've seen Cuddles up against the likes of Aaron, up against the likes of Pluvo in the community. And he's been the star man in the games, and he's beaten these SSL players. So if anyone needs to step up, maybe it's that man. He needs to step up to the plate. He can beat the MVs, he can beat the Cedrics, he can beat the Slayers of the RAF. All they need to do is just bring that confidence, bring that aggression, and try get into the final third of the Storm Shadows. If they do that, which they have done once or twice this series, there's no reason they can't get that goal, which is then going to snowball their confidence into a potential victory. But closing out, 1 second left, it's not going to drop, and we might not see a goal for the Hurricanes, but it's been a great performance from the Storm Shadows. Dominant victory and 3 goals. Slayer still looking good in the offensive ground shots. And it's coming down maybe now as Slayer fakes the ball, and it's game 1 Storm Shadows.
Confident is the word I would use for that performance from the Storm Shadows. They look very clinical as well. But I did think there was some glimpses of hope there for the Hurricanes. They at times put together quite a good spell of pressure and a couple of moments of attacking opportunities as well. Okay, they weren't taken. That's notably due to the wonderful defense of this RAF Storm Shadows side, but certainly positives to take from that game from the RAF Hurricanes. And well, I don't want to say the writing is on the wall for that team, because there is still time, and there is a best of 5 which allows for a couple of errors and a bit more margin for a comeback. But as long as the RAF Storm Shadows are playing in the form that they're in, it's very difficult to see any team beating them, unless you are the Falcons, of course.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair evaluation. I think the Hurricanes, they can come out, they do have time, like you say. That game 1 isn't such a necessity. It's not so intense to get that victory under your belt and then snowball into that victory and get best of 3s. It is now a best of 5. It's slightly different. And like you say, we saw the Sully dribbles out. We saw the Asher dribbles out. and they've created space at times, but they have not sustained offense, and that's what they're going to need if they're going to get a couple goals and a couple victories, so they can get themselves on that plane to Germany.
Death Brood, good evening to you. Stay with a wonderful flip reset. Couldn't find its way though past Captain Sully. The Hurricanes have started a lot better, I think, in this game. Good fake play by Sully there, forcing Envy into the 50. And please excuse me whilst I just sneeze off the mic. 1 second.
Envy goes for the double touch and he gets it in, and he snuck it in. The pre-flip from the double touch means he's allowed his car to angle perfectly and just slam that one into the net. And Cuddles, he doesn't know what's hit him. Such expertise from Envy, the star man of the RAF right now, and he's just shown what he's capable of. Double, he kept it low, he kept it fast, he's got the beat again, he's going to take the reset. Can he get it over him? He can, and it's in the middle. Cedric slots it home, and Envy really showing why this team can be so dominant if they get their hours up. Incredible, incredible stuff from him.
Really fine play from the Starlet. Envy still going through his phase 2 training, looking dangerous on that historic Cosford Wi-Fi. So there you go, Sam, just for you. I'm gonna need to start raising the price of that Stelly or Sui because I'm giving them out far too easily. But the Hurricanes, yes, they've fallen 2 goals down now, but I feel like they have improved this game. I mean, am I seeing it correctly, Kyle? I do feel they've been slightly better.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more space. I think there's a little bit more map control on the field. So they have options to pass instead of just a solo out every time. And I think they're making slightly better decisions on their soft touches, maybe their harder touches. But I also think whether it's forced upon the Stormshadows or not, they're playing with maybe 2 in defence, 2 a little bit deeper. And I say that and they commit all 3 of their players. Cedric reads it off the back wall, reads the bounce down, and he gets it on net. But they don't seem to be committing as much in the offence. Maybe it's a little bit of game management, just trying to keep the doors closed and the floodgates closed so that Hurricanes can't get any momentum, can't get any goals, because once you pass that 1 game mark of not getting a goal against the team, it starts playing on your mind. You start forcing plays you wouldn't usually take. You start taking shots too early, too prematurely, and it becomes a lot easier to defend. And Cedric, with that aggression, maybe he's listening to the stream. Only 1 man back, they're playing a different style again, playing higher up. The pass to Envy, the passes have been what suited them all day. Maybe a newfound team play role style out of the Stormshadows. Slayer on the ball now. Is he going to go high? Is he going to go for a fake? Who knows? Such an unpredictable player. Cedric now, the recycled ball comes back to him, goes to Envy. Is he going to fake? He's going to fake it. He's going to fake it. And when you're watching the POV, it might be obvious, but behind the ball and for the defender, Cuddles has no idea, and it's very awkward for him.
Unfortunately for Cuddles there, he was left exposed to one of the best talents the RAF has seen in a long time, and it made him pay. I think anybody in that situation would have struggled to defend against Envy. The Hurricanes, though, they have had a couple of chances. They've been inside that Stormshadows half on more than 1 occasion, inside the penalty area even. And if maybe for a little bit more better luck, could have had a few efforts at goal. But there's another good shot off the crossbar and down from Envy, who is in really confident form, I think. Unlimited. Wow. So G-Wood's got 30,000 channel points, and even if I make it the Sui really expensive, it's not going to mean anything because he could just buy unlimited amounts pretty much. And Sam, no is the answer to that question. I'm just going to say that from now. The answer is an absolute no for that question. Cedric plays it in field. Envy will look for the double, and again converts from a seemingly impossible angle. And the Stormshadows now look in an unassailable position. Surely it is going to be one-way traffic from here. And the Stormshadows still obviously got another game to win, but can, I think, safely say they have 1 foot on that plane.
Yeah, and I think we saw Slayer in that first game we saw of them against the Tempest, slotting all his shots, being very clinical, and now it's Envy. Hitting the double touches, hitting the mechanics, the aggression there, and Slayer gets the shot, gets the goal. But Envy again playing aggressive, Asher bumping his teammates slightly awkward, and Slayer's sweeping it up. And that's what they do. Prime Stormshadows have a sweeper in Slayer. He's good at the basics. Slayer 54. He's not overcomplicating it. Like Alpha, low amount of air roll usage, but efficient Rocket League. Envy, your more mechanical player, maybe he's the Zen of the lobby, and he's hitting his double touches, he's hitting his reads, and that's what we're seeing. An overpowering 6-0 victory, but like you said, and just there we see it's in the danger zone of the Stormshadows in defense, but they just seem so calm, so cool. The shot over again. Could it have been one to help them snowball into the game 3? Maybe, but maybe not now. As 40 seconds left, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get a goal in this series.
I want it for them. I want it for them so badly. Because I really respect what the Hurricanes have done this evening. It's not been easy for them. Having to juggle player availability as well. And then some other unfortunate circumstances for JDS. But Cuddles has been good. Ash has been a fine addition to the team this evening when he has been able to play. And Sully, of course, leading the way as always. I feel for them because I feel like they have been good and have shown some fine positives, but they've just been overwhelmed by a ridiculously good Stormshadows side. And in the final game, if it is to be the final game, I would love just to see a couple of goals from them. I really want it for them. And hopefully Game 3 provides us with at least some kind of comfort if you're an RAF Hurricanes fan. And there might be a goal, and it is going to be Asher that bags it. And commentators curse, or commentators will this time maybe. The Hurricanes do have something, even if it is just consolation. I think it's deserved.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of finally they've got their goal. They have been putting it in danger zones, and it seems that the defense has just been tight from the Stormshadows. But that time, they found the gap aerially, and Asher slots it home. And hopefully, they can take a little bit more confidence, and they're not too knocked, and they can give us a good show and performance for potentially the final game of this series.
Here we go then.
I think the notable thing maybe to say is we've seen 3 teams at the top of their game, and by no means have the Hurricanes played badly, but they aren't at their best, which is maybe why they're struggling, especially against this top tier Stormshadows side.
Now, of course, we have to note that due to their 4th place finish in the round robin, they drew, I mean, the team that in the RAF anybody would lose to, which is this Stormshadows side. That's just the nature of the beast when it comes to seeding. And that's not really their fault. It's just how the results panned out this evening. It means they have the mammoth task of trying to take down the Stormshadows, who have been at the forefront of RAF Rocket League for the past 3 years. I don't think they've actually lost a series to any RAF team. I mean, please somebody in the chat correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that to be true, and that was also true before, about a month ago, for the whole of the tri-service teams as well. But the Falcons doing very well to come in and dispel that, and you can see it of the effect that it's had on the Stormshadows. They have been almost awoken by it. The players, I mean, I've speaking to Slayer, Ed, Envy, and P yesterday. They're motivated by the lengths that the army have gone to challenge the Stormshadows now, and as we say, 3-0 up since they've had their new team formed, the Falcons. It excites the Stormshadows. It excites all of us in the RAF server, because I always say it, the better each of our service teams are, the better all of our teams will be when it comes to representing on the international stage. And in moments like this, in Germany, that will ring true. But at the moment, it's the Stormshadows 0-0 against the Hurricanes in the 3rd game here. The Hurricanes already much improved in this game.
Yeah, and I think for the Hurricanes, it's definitely the perspective of keep it 0-0 for as long as possible, and maybe don't get that goal too early. If you get the goal too early, maybe you're holding on for too long, or maybe there's a newfound pressure. So keeping it at 0-0, keeping the game at bay for a period of time, may be beneficial for them, and then maybe just try to sneak that victory in the last minute or so there's not that unfound pressure. It's bouncing on the goal line, and Envy comes through and takes it. But notably, Asher did have a good chance in offense, and it just got saved from good recovery out of the Stormshadows.
See there, Asher and Cuddles scrambling back. They almost had it. almost were able to survive that Stormshadows onslaught, and they've done well. It's a vastly improved performance by King Casting. Let's go. Cash RL in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, nice to see you here, bro. How did the end of your scrims go? I caught pretty much all of it, apart from the last 15 minutes, because I had to go and sort the stream out. How did that go? You are currently witnessing Kings. Let's go. Staying Easy included you in that, by the way, if you can believe it.
Hey, we're all kings in the RAF server.
This is very, very true. And what else is true is Envy back in goal number 2 here for the RAF Stormshadows. That might be the straw that broke the camel's back. Envy slotting that home. It was a slight touch from Cedric that just helped it on its way as well. Stream looks fire. Thank you so much, Casper. I love comments like that. It makes me feel so happy and makes me feel awfully better. And I've not been well at all, as you already well know, Cash, and you're also suffering from the same thing. But Kyle, it is 2 minutes on the clock now. It still looks convincing from an RAF Stormshadows perspective. Is there any hope at a Hurricanes comeback here?
No, I think it's just a little bit too late for them now. And I think 2-0, I think every time the Stormshadows have got a goal, they've solidified their defense. They're not overcommitting, and they're just playing patient. They know what's on the line, and they know the severity of a mistake. And they've played with just the right amount of risk, and they've been rewarded for it. And again, the ground shot comes through, it goes over. The Heed keeping it piled onto the net. Cedric goes up, he's going to keep it high. Can he get the double touch? Doesn't quite get the read, but it's bouncing in front of net again. And MD can't get it on target. And I think not quite as clinical this game, but also due to the good defense of Hurricanes. They have put up an exceptional game 3, and they have not been disheartened by what happened previously in game 2.
Yeah, they really have stuck to it, and they've stuck to their game plan. And I hope, honestly, that they're rewarded with a goal here, because I honestly believe their improvement merits it. But that's a fine shot from Envy, gets the rebound, and it finds its way in. Envy getting his 3rd goal of the game. So talented, so clinical, and you can see yet again, Envy just doing what he does best, just pure mechanical vibes. Got the rebound, and there's the 3rd, and surely now that's game, set, and match for the RAF Stormshadows, who look to be booking their place in Germany for the AFEI in July 2025. In just over 3 months' time, we'll be seeing them representing the Royal Air Force. And now, Stanley, now the question becomes who, between the RAF Shadows and the RAF Tempests, will join them. That's certainly what we'll be visiting as soon as this game is done, after also a short break. But for the Hurricanes, it's the end of the road. They fought very, very valiantly, and I'm sure you will agree, Stanley. And if not for an unstoppable Stormshadows team, could have easily had a couple more goals, maybe even a game on the board, and that might have changed things. But it just wasn't their day. It just wasn't to be. Slayer with an excellent finish, combining so nicely with Envy and Cedric, and the Stormshadows have done it all.
Yeah, and I think that sort of just explains the power and the offensive powerhouse we're working with. All 3 players involved in that play. Slayer, actually 0 boost, gets sniped to perfection by Envy, and it's just really unsavable for the Hurricanes. And I think with the format at hand, Hurricanes would have been looking to get 1 win under their belt in the round robin and potentially play against the Tempests or the Shadows in that qualifying match. And I think all 3 other teams knew deep down that this would have been a mountain to climb, playing and defeating the Stormshadows in that qualifying match. And I don't think any of those other 3 teams wanted it. But unfortunately, someone had to take it. Hurricanes did. And they put up a good fight at times, but they did get overwhelmed in the end by the Stormshadows.
Clinical from the Stormshadows. Commiserations, of course, to the Hurricanes. A valiantly fought run in the AFEI qualifier sees them succumb to a pretty much immaculate RAF Stormshadows side, who officially booked their place in Germany for the Ramstein Air Base tournament. We'll see them there, and we'll see them also in action later on this month for the Inter-Service Spring Qualifier. That's for both teams, of course, as well. And that will be the next focus for the RAF Hurricanes. It will be the AFEI, the Inter-Service Spring Qualifier that they'll be turning their attention to. And there is a fantastic, and I want to say it here on stream, there is a fantastic blueprint that the RAF Hurricanes do possess. And if they keep working hard, which I know they are, and with how well they are led as well by Sully, I see them doing very good work in that tournament, which they need. They need the qualification points to stand a chance of attending the end of year LAN at the actual inter-service championships. But for now, Kyle, it leaves us with one more question to answer, or actually two technically. Number one is who will win the actual tournament with Stormshadows in the final. But number two, and probably the more important question, is who will join the Stormshadows in Germany between the RAF Shadows and the RAF Tempests. We'll answer that question in about 5 minutes' time. See you momentarily.
Was born in the shadow, be tough as the cries in Apollo. Cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow. Keep everyone shut like staccatos, I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down, fucking the world that is shallow, it still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow, smoking the joint and soprano. Nightmare trees, I can't eat dreams, depression trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves, the wasted genes. Overweight shit up and wasted jeans. Plain my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural, I take this lead. Demons in bed, to the bullet might help. Couple shots to the head, ain't sleep or deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leaving. Pray I wake from dreaming. Light in my eyes, shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills. Just pills might kill me. Piano was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living. The stress I just can't be explained. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. The clog in the drain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning. Was born in the shadow, be tough as the clouds in Apollo. Cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow. Keep everyone shut like staccatos. I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pattern is down. Fucking no boy that is shallow, it still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow. Smoking this joint in soprano. Nightmare trees, the planting dreams, depressing trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves, the wasted jeans. Overweight shit up and wasted jeans. Playing my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural, I take this lead. Doing 10 best to the bullet, my help. Couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leaving. Pray I wake up dreaming. Light in my eyes, shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills. Just bills might kill me. Rihanna was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living. The stress I just can't be explained. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. A clog in the drain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me.
Time has come, Stanley. It is, well, the final qualification game of the evening. It is a best of 5 to decide which of the two teams out of the Shadows and the Tempests will book their place at this year's AFEI alongside, now we know, the RAF Stormshadows to represent the Royal Air Force at the biggest international Rocket League event that there is in the military environment. So a big game waits these sides. Now, we've already seen it, Stanley. The Shadows played very, very well against the Tempests in the first meeting between these two. Will we see somewhat of a repeat in this one? And before you answer that, I do want to say good evening, Zalu, bro. I hope you are well. Do you guys know if you will be at the AFEI? I know there were some questions with Hitman about you guys being there. Do you know if you guys are going to be there as well? But anyway, Zalu, how are you, bro? I hope you are doing well. Yeah, Stanley, please enlighten us with who you think will be joining the Stormshadows and why.
I'm not confident. I think it's a tough one to call. It's definitely not a gambling choice kind of matchup. I think Shadows have looked good all day. I think Tempests, we saw a lot of their games in the round robin, but I think they just have a little bit too much. I think they'll drop a game. They might go to 5, but I think the offensive pressure is just a little bit too overwhelming out of Subi, out of Sam, out of G-Wood, out of Keanu. All 4 of them offer such different aggressive plays, but they mesh together as a team so well. And I think that practice is really going to come in on their skills, and they're going to be able to keep their heads up, step over that line, step over that boundary, and get hold of those tickets to Germany.
Well, there it is. The stage is set. The signal has been given. There is the view from the crowd for the final qualification game this evening, as the French Air Force confirm their attendance at the event as well. Who will be joining them? Let's find out as Curtis and Keanu kick us off. High stakes game indeed, Slayer, as now he can watch in peace, knowing full well the Stormshadows have booked their place. Away we go, Stanley. It's going to be good.
Yeah, and it's notable to say that it's a great start for the Tempests. They get that goal. Sames, he seems to be coming through, and he seems to be the goal scorer. He's having a sort of Haaland-esque run for the Champions League, and he's getting his name on that score sheet every single game, it seems, when we've been watching them tonight. And also, Subi is the sub currently, and we're seeing Steve Greyman is also the sub on the side of Shadows as well. So it'll be interesting to see if that changes over the course of the best of 5, or if they stick to their guns and they battle it out head-to-head with the same 3-man roster.
Both teams have players in their roster to play with. It could come down to the captains performing a masterclass, performing a Jose Mourinho-esque masterclass of player management. Or it could come down to Samez performing a musty attempt of some sort without actually having a flick or a flip. It was fine work from the former Tempest captain, playing underneath the car of I think that was Logan, I believe. And in the end, it's 2 for the Tempest, who, compared to their first performance against the Shadows, I must say, do look a lot more, I guess, controlled.
Yeah, and we have seen a sub out mid-game. We are seeing the Grey Man come in, and it's done them dividends. They've got the kickoff goal, and it's back to a 1-goal game. Kurt sneaks that one in to the top corner and just beats Samez. Samez looking like the formidable opponent in offense, but not quite the same effect when he's in the defense. But he's got 2 goals already, and I think when Samez is playing at that level, he's playing that well, it's understandable as to why he was unsure whether he'd get the reset, why he'd maybe not get the flip when he's been going for these crazy shots. And we talk about crazy shots. He's come in short notice, mid-game, and he's fired one at the net, and there's absolutely nothing Elliot Greenwood can do about that shot. Incredible stuff from the Shadows, and they're showing that they aren't just this team that have team plays, passing plays. They have individual prowess too, and individual brilliance. And Steve just showing that great touches, great solo plays can be made from the Shadows.
Wow, what an unbelievable save that was from Roman there on his own goal mouth, facing the wrong way. Managed to recover his car. Envy says, don't lose Tempest, all my channel points are gone. Well, at the moment, it's hanging in the balance. You do need them series. You might be losing them series, Envy. Who knows? Stick one right in there. I'm going to just finish that sentence at goal. Slay. That's exactly what they've done. They've put 2 past Tempest. We're back to level terms here. Just under the 3-minute mark now is about to be crossed. The Shadows have fought back. They fought back so well. And it's almost as if the Tempests are looking a bit shell-shocked here.
Yeah, and I think it's almost looking like a Game 7 type game already in the start of this series. It's looking close. It's looking a little bit on eggshells, a little bit edgy, but we're seeing great aggression, insta-chows, aggressive plays out of each individual on the sides of these teams. A little bit more structure, a little more of those demos, and we might get open nets. Greyman, can he get there for the double touch? He can't quite get there. G-Wood takes it to safety, and I think it's just about not overcommitting in the corners, getting down to the fundamental basics, and there's going to be great gaps in challenges from both of these sides, and whoever can compose themselves first may be able to take this game 1.
I'd like to all turn your attentions to what could potentially happen tonight if the RAF Shadows can make history. Imagine the scenes. Imagine the limbs. If the Shadows can pull this off. As my voice goes missing for a second, and Roman with another miracle save. Can they make it count? No, they can't. Taromus with more incredible work on his own goal line. The Shadows survive. Up goes G-Wood. We've seen him do this before. Can't quite get the rebound. Sam with his shot just wide of the mark. Keanu there, and saved by Curtis. The captain survives and clears for the Shadows as we approach the final minute and a half.
Yeah, and I think there is a little bit of miscommunication on the defense of Shadows, but Roman keeps his nerves of steel on the goal line, and he makes a great double save. And it really came out of nowhere. He was 0 boost as well, but the recovery was excellent. He's now got 100 boost, beats one. Can he transition out? No. The aggression out of all 3 individuals of the Tempests is looking really troublesome. These bumps are looking more troublesome than maybe a demo could look. But the 50, it doesn't look good. Is it going in? Just wide. Can they get it centre? Greyman goes up. And Keanu just showing that mechanical prowess and showing that he can get to the ball before any of that Shadow side.
That could have been a very interesting last 40 seconds had that one deflected into the back of the empty Tempest net, but it stayed out. And now here comes the Grey Man. Goes away as well for the next couple of months, so this literally is his parting gift to the RAF Shadows in his absence. Will they be attending Germany? We will potentially look to find out. But the Shadows in fine form at the moment. They are pinning back this Tempest side, who now looks to come away. There's Keanu, one-on-one, finds G-Wood. And Captain Curtis there again at the death. And we may be heading, Stanley, into our first overtime of this delicately, wonderfully poised best of 5.
Yeah, and I think this just explains just how competitive and close this game could be.
Oh
1
God.
second left, 0 on the clock, and Greyman's getting great beats. And you say about him, he's leaving shortly. What a parting gift this would be if he sends his team forward into Germany later on this year, and he sends his other 3 men marching onto the plane.
Let's go, the cry from Slayer. I don't know which team that's for at this point, but there is the goal from the Grey Man, and the Tempests fall 1-0 behind against all odds. The Shadows have struck first.
Yeah, and that was incredible stuff from Doromus again. We've spoke about it in defense, he's done it in offense. He's just enabling his team, and he's creating so much space. He seems calm on the ball, and he was the first one to settle into the game and show some composure. On that goal line, he made 3, maybe 4 saves at vital points early on in the game. And 1-0 Shadows.
Absolute scenes here in game 1. The Tempest behind for the first time this evening. Will Stell's voice last the entire best of 5? Danny, we shall only find out. Hopefully it happens. I've still got to do a best of 7 as well after this, which is of course the grand final. But oh my God, are we in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen? The Shadows 1-0 up. Can they do it? Can they make history? And certainly, Slayer, I will be getting myself some honey and tea after this, because I feel like me and Stanley, we've earned it.
Yeah, and I mean, the other man that might have just earned it is the Grey Man. That was an excellent shot. High stakes in this series, and I don't think there's ever going to be full composure in this series, but the closest you can get to replicating whatever you do on a normal day, treat it like a scrim and just visualize you in the final against the Stormshadows and make it happen. We see a good start from the Tempests. They don't look too beaten up by what happened in the first game. Great pass down, and G-Wood puts it away. And if they do these sorts of team plays and they keep the ball in the high air and they play aerially, it seems it's going to be too much for the Shadows mechanically to maybe counter and deal with.
That, my friends, is exactly what the RAF Tempests are capable of. When they are on their game, they are lethal to any team. We've seen them take the Stormshadows to within a minute and a half of becoming the inter-service champions in December just gone by. They almost had it, and they performed at pretty much the best I've ever seen them in that tournament. When they are at their best, they really are forced to be reckoned with. Curtis nearly finding the equalizer. The Shadows are looking relentless. They're in fine form, and they're going to hunt and hunt for this equalizer again. Samez forced into a ridiculously good save at an impossible angle, but he got it done. That's a miss from Samez though, and it opened up the space temporarily for Shadows. Excuse me, but they weren't able to rectify it. Hitman says, we're in a good way to join you at the AFEI. Let's go, France. Nice to know that the French Air Force will be confirmed joining us in Germany. We can't wait to see them again. But will they be meeting the familiar faces of the RAF Tempests, or will they be meeting the brand new faces of the RAF Shadows? Question is soon to be answered.
Yeah, and I think the side of Tempest aren't looking too confident right now. They're going for those aggressive plays, those bumps, those demos, but they're not keeping their structure while doing so. And it very much looks flaky and not confident from them. Whereas, although 1-0 down, the Shadows are looking more solid than ever. Their touch is possibly more consistent than I've ever seen in offense. Pummeling shots onto the net and the backboard.
Oh my God.
And it's just forcing these Tempests to make last-ditch saves, last-ditch touches all the time. And they just don't seem to have the composure that they had earlier on in the round robin.
But the important statistics are that currently the Tempest lead the Shadows 1-0. They won't care how it's done at this point. They will just care simply that it is done. And that's a fine save from Curtis, staring down the barrel of a Keanu air dribble bump. But he got around it, stayed on the backboard, played patiently. and saw his team out of yet more danger. Roman almost getting the flick. Keanu takes his time. Good first touch. Plays it above the Carl Roman, who forced him high. Left the ball to Curtis. This might be dangerous. Samez, 50'd again by Roman. That's a good clear. And now Keanu with limited boost takes that all-important back boost that the Shadows will dearly miss. Can Curtis clear? He can. And we are into the final 2 minutes now. We are into territory where the next goal for the Tempests will surely win them the game. Will surely level things up. And a goal for the Shadows may see the momentum turn yet again. As we do approach that minute and 40, will it be the Shadows equalising and potentially taking us into a second overtime? Or will it be the Tempests levelling things up? It's a question that I can't wait to be answered. That one flashes just wide.
Yeah, and I think at the moment we're seeing a lot of Doromus plays. We're seeing him get a lot of his beats. But also notable that Kurt is filling in the gaps excellently. His touches are so heavy like that shot, and it's not on net, it's just wide. But it's putting Samez on 0 boost. It's putting that pressure on again. Greyman, he's in the 1v1. Can he get the shot off? He can't. But they're going to recycle the ball. They're looking for those passing plays, looking for the beat. It's on the backboard again. Can anyone be there? Greyman isn't quite there. I think maybe a bump or demo came through on Doromus. And they seem to be recycling the ball really well. That third man picking it up, banging it onto the backboard again. But a minute left, and if they can't push forward a little bit more, be that little bit more aggressive, then it's not going to be. And Samez gets that goal again. And he is the one that doesn't seem to go without a goal in any game. They've been on defence for so long, and they look like they've been struggling. But Samez says, I've not got my goal yet this game. I'm going to put one away right now.
43 seconds. All that separates the Tempests with an equalising game. Nice dribble from the Nissan man. Love that. I'm sure Sam will be delighted with that. Oh, it's a good bump from the Grey man. And noting again, by the way, that the Shadows had their chances to go 1-0 up. And if not for really good defending, could have easily found themselves 2 games up. But the Tempests showing their experience, even when they're not on their game, they're finding ways to win. And sometimes it really isn't how you do it, it's just the fact that you do it. Ask Manchester United in 2008, ask Manchester United in pretty much the whole of the 2000s, ask Liverpool a lot of the time as well, as much as it pains me to admit. It's not how you do it, it's just that you do it. And it is going to be a Tempest win, it is going to be 1-1, and now it's gone from a best of 5 to a best of 3.
Yeah, and I think we've not got any more answers than what we had at the start of this series. 2 games have played out, and it is just as close and just as unpredictable as we anticipated. We're seeing an excellent Kurt and excellent Doromus, who are probably stepping up far beyond their expectation. And, okay, we've seen Keanu. He's mechanical. He makes good pop-off plays. But it is time to maybe take a step back, anchor for his team, create the space for Samez, who has been hyping shots at net all day, all evening, and can we get him the ball to then maybe be the star man for once? I mean, switch it up slightly. Are they capable of doing that? Do they need to sub in Subi?
Time will tell, as Logan is back in the play now. PC issues potentially sorted, and that might lift the Shadows a little bit more. Got that win in such dramatic fashion in overtime. The Grey Man with a crucial goal. What will that do to the confidence now, knowing that Logan's back on the pitch? I believe it is the Grey Man, Logan and Roman. So Kurt, the captain that he is, has subbed himself off. And there's a shot from Roman. It could have found the empty net. It was just wide and above the goal. And the Shadows, again, have started pretty ominously if you're a Tempest fan.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether Kurt, although selflessly taking himself out of the game, was maybe the best idea. I think the captain's shown good leadership. He's kept a cool head in an intense, pressured situation. And I think they need that leadership on the field. However, maybe he's still doing it off the field, encouraging his teammates. Doesn't quite find the net, but so much pressure from the side of Shadows. And Tempests not looking convincing at all as they were previously.
Oh!
And the team play comes through, the pass into Roman, and he slots it bottom corner. And that man has too much composure right now. The grey man as well, really, really trying to just bulldoze his team onto that plane.
What an unbelievable team goal from the RAF Shadows. That is one of the best plays I've ever seen from Shadows, says Danny Boy. I mean, I think I agree. That is unstoppable by the RAF Shadows, and it was the grey man with an incredible layoff, and I think it was Roman with the finish. Tempests in trouble again at the hands of this wonderful, this robust, this generational Shadows performance. Doesn't matter the trio. They've had already about 2 or 3 different trios in this series alone. They make it work. They're such a well-drilled side. Roman has to deal with it. He does. Keanu was lurking. And the Shadows 1-0 lead survives.
And I think much like 2 or 3 different setups they've had with roster, they've already had 2 or 3 very, very good chances to score. And they've put one of them away early this game, which is slightly different to that game 2. If they can just keep that clinical nature and they can keep pummeling those shots, all it's going to do is wear and tear and break down that Tempest defense, which they are very heavily reliant on right now. Just a little bit of consistency in defense, and hopefully they can take it all the way, but they can't. The touch is not heavy enough from Samez, and it's really awkward for him. Doromus puts it middle, and the confidence out of the third man to just go for that ball, even though Keanu is close by, and he says, I'm going to beat you, I've got the better positioning, and he slams it into the net. And 2-0 is not a place you want to be against the Shadows if you're the Tempests. Everyone is aware of how dangerous, how solid this Shadows defense is, and how formidable they are on that counter-attack.
Oh, that's a smart finish though from G-Wood, the captain of this Tempest side. Can he spearhead them back into contention here? That's come out of vital time. Had that goal been delayed by another couple of minutes, by another minute, say, the Shadows would have been dogging that much more, but it's come at a good time now. It might have potentially lethal implications as far as the Tempests are concerned, but no, it's actually the Shadows that come straight back out the other end and resume. Normal service resumed. They double their lead again. Doromus leaves it for Steve, places it into the bottom right, and the Shadows have doubled their lead again.
And that is a textbook kickoff. That was very, very well executed. You can tell by the setup, they played for that one, they've spoke about it, and they've executed it. And that's what they needed. Maybe a massive misplay in the defense, as I was cursing them about how good it can be, but they regained the 2-goal lead, and it's going to be a massive, massive challenge out of a not very confident Tempest side to get 3 goals, to even get to the overtime, which in this case they look like they're going to struggle to do.
Cedric said it in the chat, and I totally agree. This is easily the best Shadows performance that I have ever seen, and they have had some incredible performances in their past. I mean, what do the Tempests even have to do here? They just got to believe in their abilities, they've got to believe in the game plan, and somehow force a way back into it. It's got to be done. But at the moment, the Shadows are just, it's almost like it's perfectly in their favour. This is exactly what their game plan is for. Defending leads, being clinical on the counter-attack. It's prime Greece 2004. I mean, how many times have I used that adjective before? But they're a minute away from having 2 match points and having 2 chances at booking their place in Germany.
Yeah, and I do think that once you hit that match point milestone, you get that new level of intensity, pressure. So it's going to be very hard for them to then step back over the line for the second time. However, they seem to just be able to play the same way. They implement their style. They play Shadows ball no matter what the occasion. At LAN, they stepped up. When it really matters and there's a pressured game, they've stepped up and it's on net. And Samez, he cannot get back. And 4-1, 34 seconds to go. And it's definitely going to be a 2-0 series lead for the Shadows.
Absolutely unbelievable scenes for the Shadows. They will be 1 game away from booking those seats in Germany. I'm laughing because I just quite can't believe it. I mean, they've worked so hard, as have the Tempests, to be fair. What a result it would be for them. A result for years and years of hard work as a team. But it will be a foolish move to count out this Tempest side. Their backs are against the wall right now, as that one could have been 5. This is where the Tempests will be at the most dangerous, though, with their backs against the wall. No more margin forever if you are G with Samez, Subi, and Keanu. And it's everything to play for if you are the Shadows.
Yeah, and I think with 2 games to do it, I think the Shadows now are in the driver's seat. All they need to do is stay composed, keep playing their game, and keep that offense going. I think Kurt, maybe stay on the back burner, keep yourself out, and just show that leadership off the pitch. I think it's going to be interesting to see if we see Subi now joining the match. Is he going to get involved? Is he going to get subbed in? And if so, who is it for? Because we're not quite seeing the aggression and the demo plays out of Tempests. Although with the pressure of the occasion, maybe it's not the smart thing to do. They just need to play fundamental rotation, good Rocket League, make sure they've got frequent challenges. Their speed, their tempo is what needs to be set right now. And they need to get the ball in the air and play mechanically well.
Subi in, Samez out. Samez has controller issues, as he's let us know in the chat. His controller is turbo gone. Will Subi be the impact maker? That's temporarily open. Keanu has to get there, doesn't. And the Shadows are within 442 of history.
Yeah, and I think traded demos there. No one in the midfield present, and Logan just says, yep, that's my goal, and he slams it centrally, confidently into the net. And that, at high pressure situations, is by no means an easy task or shot. He's in the midfield, there is a lot of margin for error, and he's done it again! He's found a gap that no one could see. He's slotted it in behind the second man. Third man can't recover in time, and he's slotted it back post. And that's a perfect shot.
This is magic. This is history for the RAF Shadows in the making. Still so much time on the clock, though. They cannot afford to get complacent. They have just got to lock in and make this count. Any goals given to the Tempest here is a massive level. If you are the Tempest, there really is no more room for error. One more goal, and no matter how good Tempests are, 3 goals down is going to be a massive deficit to overcome. And the Shadows, they've been on it all night long. They've looked magical. Is this their night? Is this the day they book their trip to Germany? Will we see Kurt, Logan, Steve, and Roman, there we go, in the AFEI? Or will it be stolen away from them by a Tempest side more than capable of doing so? 3:45, the clock is very slow if you're a Shadows fan now. And for the Tempest, it couldn't be any quicker.
Yeah, and I think the important thing with a lot of time on the clock is keep playing aggressively. Play the same way if you are the Shadows. Keep the pressure on. 2-0 deficit for the Tempests maybe takes the pressure off a little bit, and a miscommunication double commit means G-Wood has an open net. He's playing aggressively, he's playing loosely, and that's what they need to do. They need to chuck themselves aggressively, take tempo, and they need to just play as aggressive as possible. If it sticks, if it lands, they can come back, and anything can happen in a game 5. But more of the same if you are Shadows. Only a 1-goal lead and plenty of time on the clock. Keep yourselves on the front foot. Do not go too passive too quickly. Manage your game well.
I mean, Slayer's nailed it on the head. That was a good, important goal. That will be a shot on net as well. And you can see the Tempests have woken up. Something has been switched inside them now. They are gunning for it. There's a demo. There's the shot on net. And there is the equaliser. Just like that. Bang and bang. The Tempests are level.
The new captain really showing why he is a leader. He gets that first goal. He gets that vital bump in the offence. And the last man can't do anything about that second goal and that second shot. And you're seeing, like I referred to before, as soon as you can taste that victory, as soon as you can taste that plane, that ticket, the play starts to unfold differently. We're seeing whiffs in the defense of Shadows. We're seeing less aggressive plays, and he just gets back in time for the save. And can they recover fast enough to try take this game 4? Or is it going to be too overwhelming? At the insta-challenge, it's going to be too much from the side of the Tempests.
The Tempests have turned it on. They are back. 2 really important goals. Now they're beginning to look dangerous. They're beginning to look a bit more like themselves. Because with all due respect, they have been nullified by this incredible Shadows performance. And the next goal, Stanley, I think you'll agree, is absolutely vital. It goes where the Shadows, I believe they close us out. I believe they game manage to perfection and they book their place to Germany. If it goes the way of the Tempests, I think we're in for a game 5.
Yeah, and I think it's going to have a couple more goals in this game. The aggressive nature of Tempests now and the way it's going, I just think there's such an openness to the game. It's up and down. Anything can happen. And we've seen the mechanical level. We've seen a jump out of Logan. And it's not what you want to see if you're a Shadows fan. A misplay massively in defense there. And he's scared of the early shot. He's scared of the pass. He's in 2 minds. And it's a 3rd goal and a vital goal for the Tempests.
A crucial comeback completed for the Tempests. They've now got to maintain it. They've now got to show why they are the 2nd best team in the RAF. They've been pushed all in any angle. They've been pushed to the absolute max by the RAF Shadows, who notably, remember, are the 4th best team, having lost that token match to the RAF Hurricanes. They have had a performance here that they should be so proud of. But the Tempests, it's G-Wood the captain, puts them back up by 2 goals. And if you're a Tempest fan, you might begin to breathe a little bit more relief at this moment in time. 1:19, and they're back in front.
Yeah, and we do see Kurt come in replacement of Logan. I think we've seen the nerves get to Logan. Maybe something's happened with his internet, maybe something's happened with his controller or equipment, but he's not been his usual self as soon as they hit match point. And Kurt comes in, that level head, that leadership, really what they need, and they're missing balls, and the floodgates are really open for Tempests now, and it doesn't look good for the momentum of the Shadows at all.
It's a massive shame if you are a Shadows player. It looks like they've just run out of steam. Looks like it's a fear of winning, as Hitman has said. Like, it's a perfectly valid theory. They were so close. They were in touching distance. Did that get to them from a mental capacity? Did that affect their play? Or were the Tempests, they have, there's no doubt about it, the Tempests have well and truly woken up and have been deserved winners in this game. It's 6-2 now, potentially room for more. And ladies and gentlemen, we are heading for a deciding game, Game 5, to see which of these 2 teams will represent at the AFEI. They both need a reset, and they both need to re-attack this last game with open minds. It could be anyone, it could be anybody's game, but would you say, Carl, that the Shadows have a bit of a disadvantage now because they have just been picked apart by a ruthless, relentless Tempest side who at one point looked like they were capitulating, but turned it round, and G-Wood with a wonderful flip reset goal to drag his team into a 7-2 lead.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on psychologically in this game. I think for the Shadows, there is such thing as peaking too early, and getting those 2 goals isn't a nice thing when you're an underdog. You have to hold on, and you have to keep trying to play that same style, but it's very challenging mentally to maintain that level of aggression, that level of team play, that structure that you had. And as soon as that structure unfolds and you don't have it anymore, the insta-challenges, the aggression of the slightly more mechanical team are going to overwhelm you, and that's what has happened here. 8 goals on the side of Tempests. I'm going to throw a rogue opinion out. I don't think they've stepped it up. I think they're just playing aggressively, and it's landed due to the change in Shadows. So in the Game 5, when it really matters, when everyone's under that same pressure, it's about who can do it better. Is the aggressive, relentless nature of the Tempests, or the structure and composure of the Shadows, gonna mean more? Because I've counted Kurt's teams out multiple times in the past, but I know that he'll come back, he'll bring his team up in the next transition into Game 5, and he will make sure that they set up well and they start well in Game 7. And I think that's what both teams need. That first goal in the next game is going to be everything.
Just a reset now for the Shadows required, and I'm sure Elliot and the Tempest will be doing the exact same thing. Gathering their thoughts now in this all-important Game 5. It's come down to this. Yes, of course, there's the final to play after this, but that is merely a formality. This is where it counts. The business end of today's action. Who will join the RAF Stormshadows? The story of this series has been a good fast start from the Tempest, nullified by the Shadows, who came within a couple of minutes of making history, but the Tempests, resurgent, resilient, came back, stuck to their game plan. 6 goals in that game from G-Wood, 3 from Keanu. Honestly, a wonderful performance from the Tempest to get themselves back in it. We're into that Game 5. It's an enlightened Tempest against a resurgent Shadows. Who will do it? Who will do it? I genuinely can't. I mean, on paper, it should, of course, be the RAF Shadows. The RAF Tempest, but we can't. I cannot call it, Kyle. I just simply can't.
Call it, Stel. Call it, Stel.
I cannot call it, ladies and gents.
I'm taking Shadows. They're my favourite team. I want them to come back. I want them to show some resilience, prove themselves. They might be the 4th best team on paper currently in the RAF, but the RAF has depth, and with structure, with leadership, they can do anything. And we see the same teams coming out. No changes.
Shadows on the march, ole ole. Oh, that would be awkward for Kurt to deal with, but he does, and it is. Curtis, Roman, and Steve on the pitch. Is this the magic trio that puts the Shadows into orbit, sends them into delirium? Or would it be Subi, G-Wood, and Keanu, the team responsible for igniting the comeback against the Shadows side, who have been excellent? The Tempest in that last game, by the way, looked absolutely phenomenal. Who wants to see the French people in Ramstein? Definitely us. Definitely. We loved the French Air Force in the last tournament. We thought they were absolutely amazing players, and they were such nice people. So we definitely cannot wait to see. But again, Curtis on his own backboard. A lot to do with, but he dealt with it well. Steve away, looking towards that left-hand side. Subi was waiting though. Curtis with a nice touch. Limited boost, squares up against Keanu. Keanu, also limited boost, gets the boost now. Facing his own backboard. We will look left here towards Subi. Steve plays the miss, forces high, that's good from Steve, but Subi able to clear. And so far, Stanley, a nice even start from both sides.
Yeah, I think it's looking fairly even. I don't think there's too much pressure with the possession that Shadows are having. I think they'll slightly edge it the way of the Tempests. However, I don't think anyone's looking particularly comfortable, and I think it's looking like quite a cagey game, as there's so much riding on it, and the bump comes through. Incredible stuff. Subi gets the shot on target, and without that structure in the Shadows team, they are always going to be trailing, and they really need to step it up, get their structure back, and there's no reason they can't swindle this one back in their favour.
That's a good kickoff from Curtis. Subi left with some work to deal with. Plays it nice and slow. Excellently composed play from Subi. He's really turned it up, and I think he's, as Ed said, has turned the game on its head. Turned the series on its head potentially, but still the Shadows come. A fake play there from Curtis. Cleared away by G-Wood. Looking towards Keanu. It's a good link up from them. That's a nice clear though from Doromus, and now Kurt marches forward. Squaring it against Subi. That's dangerous. G-Wood with limited boost, just about got there. And on the counter-attack, it's great play, but a wonderful save from Steve. And G-Wood on the rebound, plays it high. The Tempest still looking for a second. Saved. Subi with a ridiculous second touch to drop it underneath the crossbar of the Shadows. But they survive, and they get out at still only 1-0.
Yeah, and we're seeing low boost from the side of Shadows, and we're seeing good touches out of Subi. Not quite the reads we want to see mechanically from Keanu, but the offense, the speed they're showing is just too much, and they can't seem to recover Shadows with their boost control. If they just get that little bit of map control, rotate a little bit wider, dodge those demos, there are overcommits on the side of the Tempest, and there's plenty of time, plenty of space for them to transition fast, find those team plays that they love to do so much, and with 1 goal in it, at any point, this can flip.
By the way, I forgot to mention, massive shout out to Hitman for the sub. We really do appreciate it. And we can't wait to see you again as Kurt comes forward. The Shadows now, they're going to throw everything at this. They've got to throw everything at this. They've done so well to get this far. They really have been a credit to themselves and their fellow teammates. They have stuck at it. They have worked extremely hard. And they are just within one goal. They can do it. They've proven they can do it. Admittedly, though, the Tempests have had a bit of a shutout in these last 8 minutes or so of Rocket League, including the last game. I don't think they've conceded. There's Roman. There goes the shot. Steve keeps pressure alive. Can they get something on goal? Some miss by Subi. Actually might have worked out well. There goes Roman! And there is the equaliser!
He's it! He's found the gap again! And Roman, maybe not the most composed in the defence. Maybe the man that's lost a little bit of structure. But mechanically, you give him that ground shot and he's sniping the net every single time. And it is in favour of the Shadows now. Their kickoffs have been incredible all series. If they connect with that, they could have had the victory. Roman!
Oh my God!
Misses the ball. Greyman gets the shot anyway, and they get the goal. And these are the kickoffs I'm on about, ladies and gentlemen. All series, they've been the favourites on kickoff. They're playing too aggressive on the follow sometimes on the side of Tempest. Too egotistical with their aggression. And they're really, really paying the price for it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe I am saying this. The Shadows are 55 seconds away from booking their place in Germany. 50 seconds on the clock. It's now or never for the Tempest. There goes the Grey Man! It's 3-1 to the Shadows. Is it history in the making? They've got to survive 47 more seconds. But oh my God, Kyle, it looks like it's happening.
That composure, that transition, the Grey Man, he's not scared to be higher upfield. Even though they're in defence, he stays in first man, he turns out, he gets that shot off, and it's that consistency to take that heavy touch on net. And at the most vital points, it's going to be too much for the Tempest to handle. And Kurt, again, he's shown great leadership, he's set his men up well, and even though they were behind, they still got 3 goals. You said that Tempests were defending well and they'd shut the Shadows team up, but you're seeing the whiffs just in the lack of composure, and maybe they got ahead too early in this game 5. But one back, 15 seconds left. Can Shadows stay composed and win the kickoff, or will the Tempest come through with a nuanced kickoff and potentially get a late equaliser?
A blockbuster last 15 seconds. It's all come down to this. Kickoff goes the way of the Shadows. The Grey Man with a good touch. 10 seconds to play. Who will it be? It's a double commit. There goes G-Wood. He will attempt a clear. It's the Grey Man with a good touch. Subi centres. Will it be? Will it be? It's across the goal line. Curtis with an all-important clearance. Subi controls. Flicks. Keanu with the shot. The Grey Man. No, it's on the line. It's saved. The Shadows are in Germany. They've done it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not quite sure how it survived, but it's been done. The Shadows make history live on the RAF Stormshadows channel. I cannot believe it. Everyone is going mental, including myself and Stanley. Kyle, what just happened?
Greyman, the amount of composure you need to not domino effect that mistake. He did not need to touch that ball. It was landing perfectly on the ground in front of him. He takes the touch. It was going in. And he just about gets enough of a pinch, enough of a touch to stop the ball fully connecting over the line. 60-70% of the ball was over. But as we know, in the sport we love, 100% of the ball has to be over the goal line before it is a goal. And such minor adjustments, minor details, and it's a completely different story. But you see, both well-drilled teams putting up the best they had, and that was an incredible series.
Absolute drama and theatre live on the RAF Stormshadows channel. The Shadows have done it. They've made history, and for good measure, have earned themselves a shot at the Stormshadows, because why not? Incredible. I cannot believe I've just seen that. the Shadows have done it. We'll get them in for interviews after their game against the Storm Shadows. But first, we'll turn our attentions to that because there is still that game to play and be a matter of formality at this point. We'll be right back in 5 minutes to gather our thoughts, set that one up, and we'll be back. Unbelievable.
Running in the shadow, be tough as the cries in Apollo. Cause life is a bitch with an ammo, she sucking and swallow. Keep everyone shut like staccatos. I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down. Fucking the world at the shadow, we still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow. Smoking this joint in soprano. Nightmare trees, the painting dreams. Depressing trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves, the wasted jeans. Overweight shirt up and wasted jeans. Play my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural, I take this lead. Demons in bed, to the bullet might help. Couple shots to the head, ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing I can gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cost? Lost family. Nothing I can gain or feel again. Just turned 23, still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons, so been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leaving. Pray I wake, I'm dreaming. Light in my eyes, shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Running away kills, no bills, still cover my bills. Just bills might kill me. Piano was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living the stress. Just can't be explained. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. A plug in the drain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning. running in the shadow. Be tough as the cries in Apollo, cause life is a bitch with an ammo. She sucking and swallow. Keep everyone shut like staccatos. I seem like I'm over inside of my friends with my sorrow. Stuck in a pad and it's down. Fucking the world that is shallow. We still never follow. Straight to the point like an arrow. Smoking the joint in soprano. Nightmare trees. The planting dreams. Depressing trees that grow like weeds. My blood and leaves. The wasted jeans. Overweight shit up and wasted jeans. Plain my scene with a wasted scene. Living unnatural. I take this lead. Demons in bed. To the bullet might help. Couple shots to the head. Ain't sleep for deep. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain. I'll feel again. Just turned 23. Still ain't free from pain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is drowning me. Try to breathe again. What's the cause? Lost family. Nothing that could gain. I'll feel again. Just turned 23. Still ain't free from pain. Don't need 20 more reasons. So been bleeding. Gun to my head should be easy. Way too close to my demons. Mindful of leaving. Pray I wake from dreaming. Light in my eyes shut demon. Days seem dark, no meaning. Trying to wait kills, no bills. Still cover my bills. Just bills might kill me. Rihanna was playing. So many kids feeling hollow and sorrow. I might go insane. Mindful of change. So many ways on my spirit. I promise I'm done with the pain. Physical pain. Feels like I'm tired of living the stress. I just can't explain. Done with the rain. Feels like I'm falling too deep and I'm drowning. A clog in the brain. I need peace, sleep, energy. Trying to dream again. All I see is trying to.
I mean, ladies and gents, does it get more dramatic than that? Does it get more insane than that? The RAF Shadows currently sit 4th in the token standings in the RAF representative rosters little league that we have. The Hurricanes sit above them in 3rd. The Tempests sit above them in 2nd place and have been the rock of 2nd position in the RAF for as long as the Tempests and the RAF Red Team have been a thing. I mean, as much as I love the Shadows, nobody expected that. However, you put it this way, the amount of work they put in as a team, arguably is deserved. I mean, that is a team that is fully merited for their history made tonight, and it's been a joy to follow. As for the RAF Tempests, well, they join the Hurricanes now in beginning their plan for the inter-service spring qualifier. I just combined 2 seasons. Later on this month, on the 27th and 28th of April, to score more crucial points for the end of year LAN. Now then, gents, where do we even pick up the pieces on that one? In fact, we won't. We'll do it after after this next grand final. Kyle, it's the Shadows. It's the Storm Shadows. Who takes it?
Unfortunately, I think the run 5 series, but I think that might have helped them just calm down, maybe refuel, and go again.
And I'll give the players a signal. I think there's no time like the present. I mean, I've almost lost my voice. I'm not very well in general. But to witness this tonight has been something truly, truly special. Like I say, deserved. For that team that has worked so hard. And it's harsh on the Tempests, by the way, who also have suffered a similar fate. They have worked, honestly, I've seen them work very, very hard as well. Rocket League can be a cruel mission. You don't take your chances, you can be put to bed. And the Shadows, clinical, absolutely clinical in their deliverance of lethal shots to the Tempest's hearts, and they've done it, Kyle. They've done it.
Yeah, I think it's incredible stuff from them, and they've been going at it for so long, and hard work pays. And that's what that's shown today. They are the most hard-working, the most committed side of the RAF. And regardless of where they are in the token standings, they've shown that they can do it at the high level, at the top level of Rocket League and RAF Rocket League. And they had a really good start in this game again, and their kickoffs really showcasing what they can do. They set it up well, and a whiff in defense, and Slayer gets the lead. And he has been a very, very star man of the day as Slayer, and slots that one home. And I think for the Shadows now, it's just a matter of enjoying the game and playing out whatever happens now. They know, just as much as the Tempest, just as much as the Hurricanes, that this Stormshadows side is a force to be reckoned with. And it's a very steep task to even get a game off them. But they've done what they needed to do. The assignment was to get to Germany, and they have done that.
It certainly is mission accomplished for the RAF Shadows. This game is okay to crown the winner of this event, but I mean, as you say, the mission has been accomplished for the Shadows. They're on that plane, and this is essentially a victory lap for them against the best of the best in the RAF. Slayer, MVP, and Cedric standing before them. And before the game as well, none of you would have seen it because of the chat. Obviously, we didn't have the chat showing, but there was certainly an outpouring of emotion from both teams actually in this lobby. From the raw emotion of the Shadows achieving history, and saying all sorts in the chat, to the Stormshadows congratulating them, and it honestly, it makes me emotional just to see that as well. The top team in the RAF, elated for the fourth team in the RAF making history, and while attending one of the most the most infamous now events of the calendar year for the RAF Stormshadows, alongside the inter-service end of year championship LAN as well. It's just the epitome of RAF Rocket League. It's all about what we're about, and the people who have fallen victim to that tonight have been the RAF Tempests and the RAF Hurricanes, and they, I'm sure, will want to come back stronger. But as we turn our attention to this game, it is the Stormshadows with a 1-0 lead, and you can see there's almost a relaxed tone onto the pitch. Nobody's playing at too much of an intensive speed, and Carl, I think they've both earned the victory lap here.
Yeah, I think they have earned that. But I think coming back to the community and how overjoyed the first team were for the fourth team, who are the Shadows, I think that's a massive credit to you, to Cedric, who have built this community and have actually actioned such a great thing. And we see, okay, a doubled lead by Slayer, a very good shot, he keeps it low, and it's a tough one to read. Cedric looked like he got the touch there, even on the replay, not sure what ghost hit there, and it was awkward to say for the Shadows. But massive credit to you for building this community, the RAF Rocket League community, which is the best out of all the RAF esports, and we get to see these great opportunities in going to Germany, and it's nice to see a bit more depth in the RAF, with the Shadows, new faces, getting to do that opportunity.
That's very kind of you, Staney. That's some very kind words from you. And me and Ed, we do take pride in what we've achieved with the RAF Stormshadows community. And that's a credit, to us, as you put it, which we thank you for, but also, as that one is going to be stumbled in by Slayer. But it also is, a credit to each of our players. That is from the Shadows to the Hurricanes, to the Tempests, to the Stormshadows. You know, we've had an influx of players as of recent. We've had Slayer come into the first team, make an instant impact. We've had Envy coming fresh out of Phase 1 into the Stormshadows as well. You know, 2 new boys playing at the very highest level of represented Rocket League for the Royal Air Force, doing their magic on the big stages, and they're going to be continuing to do that for for the foreseeable future. We've got more plans with players outside of the RAF at the moment, which we can't say too much about, as Logan makes everyone that they potentially add to the talent. You know, in the Tempest, you have the G Woods, your Keanus, your Sams, your Subis, incredible lads, absolutely incredible players, a great attitude towards the game. It's not gone their way tonight, but still they are a credit to themselves and have been for as long as I have managed them, and I certainly hope they don't take tonight too hard on themselves. It's just one of those nights. It wasn't theirs, and I hope they can come back well for the inter-service spring major. Then we've got the Hurricanes, of course, loads of new talent and old talent, of course, in the name of Asher. Then we have Cuddles and JDS, new boys, and even Sully, who's also brand new to that team. It's pretty much a trio of brand new players playing at the representative level for the Hurricanes. And of course the Shadows team, who have been, since day one, a true joy to watch, manage and see their growth as a team. Curtis, Steve, Logan and Roman, take a bow. It has been an honour watching you all, and you got what I feel that and Ed feels and everybody feels that you deserve for your hard work over the years. A phenomenal trip to Germany awaits you, and as I sit here and watch you succumb to a talented Stormshadow side, who even then you're pressing for goals, I can only think, what does the future hold for the Shadow side, and is this just the beginning?
Yeah, and I think it's nice to see these 2 teams in the final. I think these 2 teams have been showcasing the benefits of team play today. Like we saw just then, they didn't get the goal, but they're linking up well in offense, and they really show that individuals don't make Rocket League, especially in this threes environment. You need to play for your teammates all the time, and you need to be with those free-flowing passes, not these solo plays all the time, or selfish nature plays like you would see in 1s or 2s. And that's the beauty of threes. The mechanics doesn't always favour victory.
And here we go then. We're on the way. Game number 2. My illness beginning to get the better of me again. But it's been worth it as Envy makes that 1-0 already. It's another quick start for the Stormshadows. So that one is for Roman's old man, who I believe, by his name, to be the father of the Romus in the chat, supporting his little boy on what's been an incredible night for him and for the remainder of the Shadows players. A great parting gift as well from the Green Man, who now will be going to an undisclosed location for the next couple of months, and actually will be in time. Will actually be back in time for Germany, I believe, but only by a couple of days. So I wonder if that will actually rule Steve out of Germany. I don't know. That will certainly be a hard one from to take. However, he can rest in full knowledge knowing that he has been part of history tonight, and him with the decisive goal to put them 3-1 up. And when it was 3-2, of course, had that 0-second save where the ball was half out of the net and half in the net. I mean, an incredible moment. And is that an early contender, Kyle, for moment of the year of 2025? We will be seeing that moment again at the end of year LAN for awards. Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that has rivaled that previously. I think on the biggest stage for qualification of the biggest tournament, I think that really is just a moment for the record books. And I think looking at this game, okay, we've only seen a minute of play, but the Welshman, the Welsh decal from Roman, and he slotted that read off the backboard earlier, and he found the bottom corner so well. Not even the best player in the RAF arguably could get on the end and save it. And although they are on the come down of such thrill and such joy of winning the last series, they've still got the mechanics, they've still got the reads to put some goals away, even against the best side in the RAF.
And it is 1-1. I mean, like I say, both teams are playing on full chilled, relaxed mode, which is understandable given the intensity of tonight. But you can see that the Shadows still doing their thing, and this might be what's required in Germany. They will be facing opposition of incredible levels of skill. We are talking SSLs and above. There will be, of course, the Navy will also be there. Hopefully the Army will be there as well from the UK Armed Forces. So hopefully there'll be some competition that they will be able to compete with. But tonight they've shown they can do it against anybody. As Slayer, well, makes it 2-1 for the Stormshadows with an excellent tight angled finish.
Yeah, and I think the Stormshadows keeping it convincing, and they're doing the business, but they're also laid back, chill enough to understand that as long as they get the victory of the tournament, they aren't looking to intensely pummel shots and goals into the net of the Shadows like they were when Germany was on the line in that previous game against the Hurricanes.
A great save by Steve again on the line. It is 1-0 to the RAF Stormshadows in the game, in the series, of course, and they are looking to make that a second. You can feel the energy just being. I mean, my energy, like I will, as much as the Shadows have also been on a come down, I too have been on a come down. Maybe it's the sugar that I've put into my body finally wearing off. Maybe it's the illness getting the better of me, but my energy levels have dropped right down. But it's been worth it. It's been worth every second of it to be able to cast this event. Another glorious event put on by the RAF Stormshadows community. I've been joined by Carl in the box as well. Again, Carl, I can only thank you as well for your valuable analytical insights. Stormshadows are insane. Yes, for sure, Romans on man, they are the top team in the RAF and have been for 3 years straight. They are the best of the best. However, as you can see tonight, the Shadows join them in Germany and share that status with them. The only team to beat the Stormshadows in all of the military in the past 3 years are the British Army Esports Falcons, who currently hold that record against them. And who knows? We'll see those two teams in action again in the end of the month, the Falcons and the Stormshadows, to see if the Falcons can keep that up, or if the Stormshadows will restore parity as they will see it. Kyle, it's been an absolutely insane night, and the Stormshadows look like they're going to win out here. 4-0 winners, but I don't think the Shadows will care.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're too worried. They got their business done previously in the night, and this is just a bonus and almost a formality. It's almost getting played like a third place playoff in the World Cup. Nothing too intense, nothing too serious, but we are seeing the Titans really just showcase why they are the best, and I think that's what we're here for. Envy, Slayer have really been the star men of the night. I think Cedric, he changed the game yesterday against the Army, and he really switched it up. But I think today, he's just about enabling his teammates.
I'm excited as well to see how these players play in a LAN environment. We've seen the Stormshadows levels rise in a LAN environment. Of course, Envy historically has very bad internet, and sometimes that can also be the case for Cedric as well. The Shadows, their LAN performances are also very, very, very good. They had a good one in the last inter-service winter major as well. I believe finishing 5th of 9 teams. So they'll be looking to complete that as well. They're also interesting. There are for this next major in the spring, in the end of this month, there are 10 service teams. That includes 4 British Army teams, 2 Royal Navy teams, and of course 4 Royal Air Force teams. That does mean that there will be 2 teams cut from the end of year LAN. That's what that means as well. So it's going to be interesting having to calculate all these scores for that one eventually as the end of the year gets closer and closer. But for now, none of that matters. It's all about the AFEI. Attentions, I'm sure, will turn to the inter-service spring major as the month goes on. But it's full-on party season for the Stormshadows and the RAF Shadows.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing to note for the Tempests is, although they've not made it to the Germany event, they've still got the Inter-Services Championship at the end of the year. So all they need to do now is focus all their attention on getting results, getting points for these majors leading up to the end of the year, where they can then showcase why they got to the final last year, and maybe go one step further.
Envy drops it down central into the final 38 seconds. They score when they want. They score when. I love that. I love that from you. There will be goal number 8 though. And Logan, by the way, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it. That's 9 months, bro. Absolutely love that. You already know where the money goes. Goes straight back into you guys. Like I say, we really do appreciate it. The Storm Shadows making, it must be said, light work of the Shadows. But like I say, I just don't think they care. For all we know, the Shadows are in there having a full-on party, and deserved, absolutely deserved. As Envy drops that one down, Slayer will take his time. 20 seconds on the clock now. The Grey Man. And again, Kyle, what a parting gift, eh? What a parting gift that the Grey Man has given to the RAF Shadows.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at performances today, I think the Grey Man is really the one that has stepped up massively. The consistency of his touches, the consistency of his defense has been absolutely exceptional. And he's bought his team out of so many scenarios in the round robin, in the semi-final series. And now he can just sit back, drop the mic, and he can travel off to where he needs to go for the next couple of months.
So gents, ladies, it is 2-0 to the Storm Shadows. They are within 2 games now of completing their flawless run tonight. And ensuring they leave this tournament as winners. Which I think nobody could argue that they do not deserve. They have been outstanding tonight. Roman's old man says, I mean, in fairness, credit to anyone plays this competitively. I nearly fell over watching this for the first time. It is like that. I'm going to just call you Roman V2. But yeah, Roman V2, it is like that. It takes a while to get used to watching it. It takes even longer to get used to playing it. Luckily for the players, they've been used to doing it for a fair amount of time now. Oops, I've just joined the RAF Shadows by accident. Let's not do that again. Maybe that's just me trying to play with them, who knows. But we are looking to get underway again for game number 3 as the Storm Shadows look to close out a 4-0 flawless final win. Will it happen? Well, I certainly think so. That's no disrespect to the Shadows.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. I think they've just got a little bit too much, and I think that goes the same for all 3 of the teams of the RAF that aren't the Storm Shadows. And I think the exciting thing that's going to come is hopefully more depth as the community grows, maybe more teams. Hopefully we can get more than 4 teams going with the influx of people joining the RAF. The exposure that we're getting for the Rocket League scene as well in the RAF, and hopefully that will bring more competitive spirit to these teams. And you trying to join the Shadows, I think I'd want to join them as well on the high they've had tonight. I think everyone in the chat, obviously Shadows being a fan favourite, I'm really happy to see what they've done.
I mean, what a night. What a night. I mean, it's what a save by Kurt, by the way. This game is literally the ending credits on a phenomenal, historic night. Again, it's ending with a cracking save. And the Grey Man just sat on the boost, gets bumped for his troubles. Logan backs away onto the ball. 3:30. Shadows haven't managed to land a blow yet on the RAF Storm Shadows. Equally though, the Storm Shadows unable to break through at this moment in time. Slayer with a nice flick, and I'm telling you, Slayer is a real problem for any team if he's on his game. And honestly, with Slayer, him being on this game is solely dependent on his hours logged. He lives a very busy lifestyle in work due to the nature of the job, but I'm looking forward to June when that will change. And you can just see, just through sheer hours play, compare his first 5 minutes of the series, of the first game in the series against the Army yesterday, to the last 5 minutes of the last game against the Army, and of course all of today. He's a different beast. He's such a good player when he's warm, you know? And it carries such a threat for the RAF Storm Shadows. And although he won't be able to make Germany, he has a fantastic built-ready replacement in P to take to that spot and to ensure the strength of the and integrity of the RAF Storm Shadows first team is maintained as Kurt gets the equalising goal here. The opening goal for the RAF Shadows, who are now in front for the first time in the series.
Yeah, and I think that's what we like to see. I love my Shadows, and they've got themselves ahead. And that leader has slotted one away. and we have no Roman for the first time, I think, tonight in the series. So maybe just showing that they really are relaxed and they're just enjoying themselves.
What a save, by the way.
Not taking it too seriously. But it also shows that no matter who is on the pitch, there is success from the Shadows.
Yeah, it's tough if you're Kurt, isn't it? To pick a, it must be very tough to pick a starting lineup in this side. But he does a great job, Curtis. He manages it so well, and has done. You know, he knows how to manage his personnel, and he's led them to the most glorious of results this evening. And it's Envy. He will turn on this. He will have an open net. Plays it in towards Slayer. Had to play it back. Curtis lines up against Envy. Incredible from Envy. But the follow-up shot from the Grey Man is a good one. Forces a save. Cedric. Game beginning to lighten up a little bit now. Both teams are beginning to speed up. Maybe Stormshadows revitalised, inspired by the Shadows, taking a 1-0 lead here inside the final minute and a half now. Good fake by Cedric, repping the beautiful looking Ford Mustang. That's lovely, that will be the equalising goal. And Cedric stepping up as captain, doing what captains do, carrying the team.
Yeah, and I think they've stepped up the speed a little bit. You can see a little glitch touch from the Grey Man there, maybe a ghost hit. Rocket League not always registering the touches it should do, which can be frustrating. But yeah, we're seeing the Stormshadows maybe just amp it up a little bit. They don't want to be dropping games. The Shadows, by all means, not out of this one. And to get a game in a best of 7 series would be excellent stuff for them, in confidence to maybe even deal more damage to these guys in the future.
Are you going to sleep well tonight, Kyle? After this stream?
I think there's a level of adrenaline that is still going on that means I'm not going to be sleeping anytime soon. I think celebrations are in order for what has happened tonight.
Truly has been a special night. Special for the Shadows in particular. And you know, it's going to be nice as well because, I mean, the two RAF teams do it anyway, but in Germany, when one team is not playing and the other team is on stage, we'll get to cheer each other on. Last time we found ourselves cheering for the French as well. Can the Stormshadows do what no other team has done yet, which is to topple the American power? I don't know, that remains to be seen. They'll prep for it, both of these teams will prep for it as best as they can. They'll no doubt be getting coaching from the likes of Saini, who, by the way, has held 2 insanely good coaching sessions open to all teams. And you can see the Shadows are direct beneficiaries of that. I mean, Carl, walk me through what you've taught all of our teams, but what in particular that the Shadows have actually taken on board and implemented here tonight.
Yeah, I think I've looked slightly at the rotation, maybe pad lines, which I think will do massive dividends for the Shadows, as especially in offense. I think they just look to go back a little bit too often, and we've looked at how to rotate, how to make the most of your boost, your plays when you're coming off the ball, when you're rotating out of that first man. And I think they've really shown that, and their offense has been a lot better. I think they've scored more than they usually would, and they've sort of adapted as a team slightly. And then going into the second session, we were looking at kickoffs, and we were just looking at the importance of that second, that third man who aren't on the ball for the kickoff, and why maybe if they're not following the ball correctly, or if they're not going to the correct side of the pitch, then how it can impact you heavily and also just lose you momentum and control of the game. And I think Shadows, more than any of the 4 teams, have really implemented and applied that knowledge. I think I referred back to it in that semi-final, and their kickoffs were immaculate. I think they were doing great things on the kickoffs, varying it, pushing the kickoff. They were losing on kickoffs, and they were getting that possession, which is what they need to get early goals and control in those series. And they did that excellently against the Tempests, and they've actually done it pretty darn well in this series as well. But unfortunately, there's a level of consistency, there's a level of mechanics that is just insurmountable. even in threes, when that strategy-based game is almost a different kettle of fish.
Cash
Now
RL.
we see-
Sorry, brother, you continue. I'm so sorry.
Keep going, bro. You got people in the chat.
No,
You
no,
go crazy.
you're very insightful as always, Kyle. But just wanted to inform Cash RL of the events of tonight. If you haven't seen, it was the Stormshadows qualifying first after beating the third team in that first qualification game for Germany, and then it was the Tempests who have been the second team in the RAF for 3 years. 3 years losing to the RAF Shadows, who are the currently the fourth team. They've made history, and the Shadows have booked their place in Germany in historical fashion, in a series that they will be watching for the next few years to come. It will be the talk of the server. It will be the talk of the town. But unbelievable, and yeah, they've done it, and they will be joining the fourth team will be joining the first team in Germany for the RAF to represent. And that's where we're at. And what you're seeing now is the grand final of the event as a whole, to wrap up the winners, to see who will take the first spot. But ultimately, this game and series means nothing. The Shadows are already in full-on party mode, as are the Stormshadows. And the moment the Shadows lead, if the Stormshadows do end up winning this game somehow, which may not happen, then it will be all she wrote for the evening's action, and we will get the two teams in for interviews, and then we'll wrap up for the evening's action. But right now, the Shadows with a 1-0 lead, and it's just been equalled on.
Yeah, I think Slayer slotted that one in such an awkward place that even Doromus couldn't get back to it. He couldn't quite save it. The post just in the way, and it's slotted away. 3 minutes left. It's still anyone's game, but you can't help but think Stormshadows will just sweep this one fairly comfortably and take it away from them.
All it takes now is one more goal for the Stormshadows, which should do it. We've been nothing but all energy this evening, but I'm sure you can tell by our voices, energy has been sapped from us due to that unbelievable display from the Shadows against the Tempests. I'm probably going to be saying it for a long, long time, but I really also hope that the Tempests don't take it too hard. I mean, no doubt they will. They would have come in tonight thinking that it was theirs to lose, and to be fair, it was. But who could have expected? Who could have foreseen the level of performance the Shadows pulled off tonight? Pulled out the bag, and I just hope that they can start to refocus themselves onto the inter-service qualifier at the end of the month. That's their next big objective. That's the next big goal, to look at toppling the Stormshadows, to look at toppling the Army Esports Falcons, which, by the way, is certainly not out of the realms of possibility for this Tempest side, who on their day will, and I maintain this, will beat absolutely anybody. And that's nutty from Cedric! And a last-ditch save from Roman denies what would have been gold on the night there for Cedric. But a nice save from Roman.
Yeah, and I think trying to clip farm, he wants a montage, but he's not going to get it. Roman shuts it down, and that's going to be a sore one for Cedric to deal with. But like we say, their energy not quite there, and not quite at the same level as it has been for the rest of the night.
Understandable.
What a night it has been, and to have Stell in the box with me when he's even ill and he can still keep up the energy, still keep the endurance to go for hours on end, I think it's very, very commendable stuff.
Oh, thank you very much. That's a wonderful save by me, by the way. And the Shadows are pushing for a way back into this series. Not quite done with it just yet. But I'll tell you what certainly is done, and that is my voice. As Cedric forces another good save out of the grey man. Here comes Slayer now. The heat. He has certainly been heating tonight, up to much of his funny business that puts his teams in such commanding positions, and there is the opening goal, the goal that gets the Stormshadows in front, and will most likely see them put this game to bed, put the series to bed. 1:06 to go, and Stanley, I think in this last minute, let's pick a player of the night for both the Stormshadows and the Shadows. Starting off with the Stormshadows, I mean, I've got to say, it's a tough one. I think Envy has been, I think all three of them, by the way, have been pivotal in their run tonight, in their run this evening. They've been so, so good. Envy with so much flair. Slayer with, oh my god, that's nutty, by the way, from Roman. Slayer with, such high quality anchor play. Ed with leadership skills, mechanics, flair. How do you even pick the most influential player of the Stormshadows?
I think at the end of the day, they've all had their great moments. I think, like you say, Cedric, he's been opening up space. He's been getting those aggressive plays where he needs to. And it's really been opening up the floodgates for his two teammates, which he has done so effectively tonight. And I think Envy had his series, he had his moments of mechanics, but the real star man, the one that's been doing it all in the midfield, all in the final third, is that man Slayer Heed. And I think he's got to be my man for the night. He has been absolutely incredible, and especially, like we say, night and day between his performances, between yesterday and today. But that man right there for the Shadows has been influential, #1 influencer of the whole night, and no one could have guessed it going the way of the Shadows after losing their token match against Hurricanes, after taking it close with Tempest so many times in previous years. But they've done it where it matters, and the man that's leaving temporarily and going on holiday is the man that has almost carried them to where they are. And he's done absolutely amazing things. We see all 4 of them join, and they're having a celebration, they're having fun, and 5-2 will be the final score of the game. And we see everyone enjoying what we've built. The tournament's been incredible. Cedric showing off his mechanics, getting a little double flip reset, a little musty, and he can't do anything with the ball because he's got no car control, but he can show off 1 or 2 things he can do.
There he is. That's how we're going to leave the last gameplay of the evening. We're going to just watch them all enjoy themselves. It is the Stormshadows that take it. They have a flawless run to AFEI qualification, and they are joined, and I say it again, in Germany by the RAF Shadows, making history, not for the first time in their RAF Rocket League careers. And I mean, on that note, Kyle, I'll get you to talk about. No, in fact, I won't get you to talk about anything. I'll just drag.
Get the boys in, Stel. Get the boys in. Let's hear what the 2 qualifying teams have to say, and let's hear about how they feel. We saw it on the pitch. They look pretty happy, but let's see what they think about it now. I think we have Cedric joining us, right?
So it is Cedric in the chat for this first part of this interview. I mean, Cedric, what a night! Firstly, for yourselves and for your team. Oh, by the way, Roman, don't worry. It's just an automated thing for security reasons. Don't worry about it. But Cedric, I mean, what a night! I mean, how do we even break that down? Firstly, to your team, to the Stormshadows, congratulations, a flawless run to AFEI qualification. How was that one out there for your lads tonight?
Firstly, I want to obviously congratulate the Shadows. What a performance. Can we get a round of applause for the Shadows?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Big round of applause for the Shadows.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
No, obviously, from a Stormshadows standpoint, super happy with how we played. But a shout out to all the teams, by the way. All the teams brought their A game today. So, and you've seen that with the Shadows managing to qualify for Germany. So yeah, we're really happy. Teams gelled. Had a bit of fun in the last game, as the Shadows did. It was like a bit of a victory lap. And yeah, I think really happy, really proud.
So in terms of your team's performance as a trio, you guys look very solid tonight throughout, even against a very strong Tempest side who looked to challenge you. And I thought personally, Carl, I don't know if you'll agree with me, I thought they picked up where they left off yesterday against the Armed Esports Falcons. They grew into the game and were fully merited for their unbeaten run tonight. But Cedric, where does that leave you now in terms of Germany? You know more than anybody what that's like. You've experienced 2 before. You're going with Envy, who is inexperienced in that department. He hasn't seen it before. No doubt he can deal with it. But how will you look to shape your team going forward in the next 2 months?
Yeah, obviously we know the level of the opponents in Germany. It's a lot higher than anything we have to face whilst we play online. But we know what it takes to beat them, and we know we can. It's just time to grind and work towards it. Obviously, we'll be playing with P in Germany, not Slayer, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, we're playing with P. Unfortunately, Slayer can't make Germany, but we know what P has to offer on LAN.
The
right?
LAN buff.
So it's time to grind as a trio, full scrims, full grind, ready to go.
Certainly looking forward to it. And away then to the captain of the RAF Shadows, who also joins us in the chat in the commentary box right now. I mean, Kurt, what a night! What a night! I mean, another night of history for the Shadows. Walk me through how you're feeling right now.
First of all, Guten Tag, everybody. Yeah, just speechless, mate. To be honest, we what do you say? You just can't write it off, can you?
You cannot write off the RAF Shadows. I mean, there's been teams that I've learnt that lesson the hard way over the last few years, and notably Tempest tonight. It just wasn't their night, but what an unreal performance from you and your team. I mean, I would love to know what the vibes were like in those last moments where Steve had the ball half in, half out. Firstly, in that moment, and secondly, in the seconds that followed. If you can recall that, I would love to know what that was like.
It was the most stressful bit of Rocket League I think I've ever encountered. But yeah, I've already erased it from my memory. I'm gonna have to watch it back. I did clip it, so I'll post that in so you can see with reactions because I forgot.
I mean, I can only congratulate you again on more history, another chapter written in the historic RAF Shadows team. One last question for you then, Kurt, before I move on to Roman. Well, it's an experience that's new for your Shadows side. Never been to Germany. Oh, Hitman, see you in Germany, my bro. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. We're looking forward to seeing the French there again. We'll see you there. But yeah, it's an experience that's completely new for your Shadows side. You've done the inter-service LAN. You have that experience under your belt. So no doubt you're going to have another impressive run as you did last year. What you haven't done is go abroad to play Rocket League for a good week as well. It's going to be an incredible week. I'm telling you from now. You guys will love it. But you're up against some stiff competition. I believe the Navy will be there. The British Army will be there. We know how strong they are. Obviously, the Storm Shadows will be there alongside ridiculously skilled competition in the US Air Force, who last time went 32 games to 0 in the whole of the two-day event. The US Coast Guard, the Space Force, the Canadian Air Force will be there this year as well. So much to look forward to for you guys. And you know, you have no pressure on you. You can go there and fully enjoy the event. But how will you look to prepare your team for that monstrosity of a challenge that awaits you?
Keep doing what we're doing. I mean, if we can turn up and come second in this tournament, who's to say who we can't beat in that tournament? So I think we just need to keep at it. Yeah.
Exactly right. Fair play. I mean, you've heard it there from the captain himself. And on to one of your really influential players tonight, I thought, Roman, welcome to the commentary booth. Run me through how you are feeling right now, young man.
Yeah, hello Stelios and hello everyone. Hello ma'am, hello dad. They are watching on the big screen. It's honestly, it's a great moment. It really puts a year and a half into perspective of this side. I'm still trying to process what happened, and I'm glad Kurt clipped our celebrations because I was absolutely screaming. Ed came into the chat as well, and it was just me going absolutely ballistic. I think I deafened Steve. And fair dues to Steve, he's on deployment tomorrow. He's going straight away.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I've just been trying to process it all. That best of 7 there. I deliberately took a game out because I just couldn't play Rocket League anymore. I just sat there, I was like, wow, we've actually done it. We're going to Germany.
It must have been, I wouldn't say a shock because I thought you did play a very impressive best of 5 against that Temper side. I mean, what do you have to say to them? Because it at times they looked dominant. I mean, they had a 9-2 win over you. I mean, how did you... Firstly, I mean, what do you have to say to them based off of that loss? Because that's a tough one to take for them. I hope they don't take it too hard. But also, how do you recover from that 9-2 deficit to then go on and make history?
Well, yes... I kind of had a feeling something was going to happen in the best of 3. Like, they didn't look too comfortable there. And respect the Tempest, they're a strong side. And I wrote myself off way before this day. I sat there, I was like, I genuinely don't believe we're gonna do it. I said to my officer, I said to my manager, I was like, we could have a chance of going to Ramstein tonight. I genuinely don't believe it's gonna happen. And all of a sudden we picked up the controllers tonight and everything fell into place. What I can say is that best of 5, we did go 9-2 down, you are correct, but by the time we were 5-2 down, I was already thinking about the next game. I wasn't really we were all put down our controllers basically and went, right, we have one more shot at this, we have one more chance at this. And who other than Steve the Deal, the grey man, who has now been dragged into this call to pull it through in absolute emphatic fashion.
Still shaking, mate, to be honest. I don't really know what happened.
So,
And I
Steve-
also didn't know in the last game that we were playing for Germany for that game. I thought it was like some kind of lower bracket thing. If I had known,
No, it was
I'd
single
have
elim.
probably just panicked way harder at the end. And yeah,
Yeah, it was.
yeah, that was nuts.
It was a single elim, obviously. So great, Mam is crying. Wow, there you go, Roman. You've made your mother cry. Kyle, before we close things out, do you have any questions to any of these players in the or thoughts for any of these players?
I think the one question is, Kurt, as captain, like, you lost your 3rd place in the token rankings, and like, since losing to the Hurricanes, what's changed? How did you come into the tournament compared to other tournaments?
Oh, it's really hard to say. I actually don't know. I think some days we just have bad days of Rocket League, and other days we have good days. I guess this is just one of them days, and that was one of them days.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Rocket League is like any sport. Whatever happens on the day is how it goes. And like you say, luckily for you guys, you turned up on probably the most important day of the year in regard of qualifying for the biggest tournament in the forces. So, well played.
Incredible.
man.
Incredible from all of you. And I'll open the floor to the players for any of you one last time if you want to send a shout out to anybody or whatever. And then I'll close things out. So open floor for a second, guys, if you want it.
Yeah, I love you, ma'am. I love you, dad. I didn't mean to make you cry. That's not what the point of this was. And thank you for sticking alongside me during this journey as well.
And that's it.
Just well done to my team. You all played exceptional tonight, me included. Yeah, we'll send you a postcard from Germany.
Love that. Guten Tag, says Kurt. I love that voice. Well, it has been an honour hosting this event. I mean, what a night of drama, what a night of action-packed theatre that it was this evening. And, well, I can only wish you all a farewell. I hope you have great evenings ahead. And we will be back probably for some show matches next week if I get fully better, because right now I'm absolutely devastated and drained. A massive thanks again to Kyle, going by the name of Stainley, for joining me in the commentary box. Another smashing job from you, my friend. But for now, it's Shadows and Stormshadows booking their place at the AFEI in Germany in July. They'll see you there. We'll see you in the next stream. Have a good night ahead, all.
Auf Wiedersehen!
See.